It's Friday. All right. Although, right there for a moment, I thought it was Monday. What happened is that we are preparing for the ice and the snow to come. And we had set up since we can be automated, we had set that up to take over this morning, and Val hadn't been shown how to get it out of that. So anyway, I'm here. I'm live in the studio. We'll hear from Congressman Hill. That'll come up at 7:35. He'll join us, and we'll talk to him. And until then, let's just talk about what's going on in the news. And to do that, I think what we should do is I can go to the websites that I frequent early in the morning. And I found something of interest I thought you would find of interest, and that is that the USS Abraham Lincoln now is in the over in the Gulf. It has moved into the area fairly close now to Iran. Now, what does that mean when we say that we've got a carrier strike force close to a country? We moved to one. What was it, Bush? The carrier strike force Bush into the Gulf of America, fairly close to Venezuela here recently, and you want to know about making where you've got power close by, and they're letting Iran know, quit killing the people over there, and it's now in the Arabian Sea. All eyes are on it to find out whether or not the president's going to give a green light to some military action in Iran against the murderous regime of Khomeini. According to, there's a magazine, believe it or not, there's a magazine that's called the Mossad Commentary. And the Mossad writes this up. The USS Abraham Lincoln Carrier Strike Group has arrived in the Arabian Sea, signaling a major U.S. military posture shift in the region. Now, what is that major posture shift? Well, John Spencer, chair of Urban Warfare Studies at the Modern War Institute, the War College, summarizes the firepower our carrier group brings. When the U.S. deploys an aircraft carrier like the USS Abraham Lincoln, it's not sending a ship. Yeah, and that's something that most countries understand this, all right? No, the guys aren't taking off their blouses and stuff and laying on the deck and catching some sun over in the Persian Gulf. That's not going on. When the U.S. deploys an aircraft carrier like the USS Abraham Lincoln, it's deploying a carrier strike group. What does that mean? Well, it's a mobile, self-contained, joint combat force. Well, what does that mean? That's just military gobbledygook. Well, here's what it means. It includes as a minimum, this is the minimum that is there, 5,000 sailors on the carrier and the air wing, all right, are there. 1,500 to 2,000 sailors across cruisers, destroyers, and logistic ships. The aircraft carrier, floating, nuclear-powered, can stay wherever it's at forever, basically. Gets out there. The aircraft carrier has 65 to 75 aircraft. Those are fighters, ones that get up in the air and send you the placement of other aircraft and of troops on the ground. Helicopters. They also have one guided missile cruiser, usually a Ticonderoga-class cruiser, air and missile defense commander, 2 to 3 guided missile destroyers, usually the Burke-class destroyers, anti-submarine warfare, ballistic missile defense, strike capability, a nuclear attack submarine somewhere under the water, around them somewhere, unannounced locations, of course, logistic ships enabling months at sea, and air dominance without host nation bases. In other words, you don't have any Air Force bases on land anywhere around you. You come back to a deck of a ship the size of a postage stamp when you're coming in, and you land on that, and then you can go down and bunk, and you can go down and eat, and you can go down and get briefed and debriefed. Layered defense against air, missile, surface, and subsurface threats. Now that's what carrier strike group is. So you can understand why. Now, Iran, I'm sure, understands what that all means. It means be good little boys and girls, or we can incinerate you. That's right. Yeah, leave your people alone. So I just thought it'd be interesting. You understand that we're talking about 75 aircraft, fighters, AWACS, helicopters, a guided missile cruiser, and I have no idea how many missiles they carry. It's usually a Ticonderoga-class cruiser, air and missile defense commander, 2 to 3 guided missile destroyers, anti-submarine warfare, ballistic missile defense, strike capability, of course, nuclear attack submarine, unannounced locations where they're at, logistic ships enabling months at sea. Usually there's one ship that carries all the produce and food and all that. Think about, have you ever been next to an aircraft carrier, Val? Have you? Okay, all right. That's a destroyer. Yeah, that's the destroyer. Yeah. Have you ever been near an aircraft carrier? With the planes and stuff. Okay, an aircraft carrier, it's about a football field wide. It's about 3.5 football fields long. It's a big boat. I'm just telling you, it's a big boat. It's for the when I was in the Air Force, I was lucky enough. I was doing a show, and was lucky enough to be on the aircraft carrier Kennedy. And we went and we got on the boat while it was at Norfolk. It was part of the Atlantic Fleet at the time. I think the Kennedy now is part of the Pacific Fleet. But I sat in the captain's chair, the admiral's chair. And I'm sitting up in that chair, and I'm looking down on the flight deck, and that's 13 stories high.
Gosh, dang.
And that's just the structure you can see on top. That's not talking about how much of that boat is in the water.
So I guess when these guys that go in the military and they get assigned to that, they're like in awe too.
Well, an aircraft carrier has anywhere from about 4,500 to 6,000 crew members, and just to put it into so that you kind of grab hold of it, they've got 3 movie theaters on the aircraft carrier. Oh yeah. It is just so huge. It blows you away when you're on it. Now, I didn't get to go out. I wanted to go out.
It's like a small city on water.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what it is. And you're just talking about the aircraft carrier.
Right, that's not the rest
You're not
of the stuff.
talking about all the support craft
Right.
that are all around it. And, you're looking at probably another 1,900 to, 2,600 crew.
Yeah, that's the stuff we didn't get to show in the parade.
Yeah.
That everyone, Trump's parade.
Yeah, put it up on a flatbed.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And carry
They
it.
would just take out the White House.
They could call over to the towing company and ask them to bring out one of their big tow trucks and pull it around. It's you just don't have a feel for the magnitude unless you're there. I mean,
how much bigger than the biggest cruise ship is it?
Well, I just know I have never seen a boat that big. Now I'm calling it a boat because that's what the Navy calls it.
It's not a yacht.
They don't call it a ship. They call it a boat. And what I thought was interesting, we went down below deck, and their lifeboats look kind of like small,
Sea-Doos?
No, they're big. These are huge. Each one of them can hold several hundred men.
Oh gosh!
And they've got them like all set up, ready to go, down where the planes are. The planes take up 2/3 of right underneath the flight deck, and then you got all of your lifeboats in there. Let's just put it this way: they're not boats that have paddles on them.
Wow!
The guys aren't getting on them with a life vest and sitting down on a bench and starting to pull in the water, to get around. These things are huge. They look like yachts.
What, really?
Yeah, they look like small yachts.
I'm going to have a visual.
I was really amazed by it. It just was incredible. I wanted to go out. The planes were not on board yet, and I wanted to go out when they flew in and landed, and that's still considered top secret. And so you can't be there when it's going on, because they've got new technology now for launching and landing planes.
No, anybody see it?
Everybody's used to watching, Victory at Sea and all those other World War II type programs, and you see the guy out on the deck, and he's like down in a hunched position, and he's got his hand up in the air, and he's saying, rev up your engine, and then points straight out, and the plane just takes off. Well, it's not. The plane is like got the brakes on. They've got the engines just going like crazy, and the cable that's across the flight deck propels the plane off the deck.
Right, like slingshot.
Yeah, and if you ever watch it, you'll see from inside the cockpit, you see the pilot. He's sitting up, and then all of a sudden, he's just really back, and he's pressed into his seat. And it gets you to the speed that you have to come off the end of the aircraft carrier and get airborne. And it's really amazing what they do. That used to be steam powered. It isn't any longer. It's electric motor powered, so it's got full thrust from the word go. The steam, it used to be launch, wait for the steam to build up again, and then launch again. That's not the way it is now. It's launch. All right, and they can get all those planes off in a matter of moments. See, when we went into Iraq, and they kept telling us everybody was going to see shock and awe. That wasn't shock and awe. I'm just telling you what the American military can do. If they want to bring shock and awe, they can bring it. Really bring it.
And not like Japan.
Yeah, you don't want to be at the other end you don't want to be on the receiving end from America's military. You don't want to do that. So yesterday they approved in the House. They approved the Defense Department's budget, and this was a big win for the GOP and the president. The Democrats had been threatening to defeat the legislation. They don't have the votes. They don't have the votes. That's simple.
But they got to try.
If we keep, if we can keep our people, together, they can't stop anything. This bill, one of the bills, they had a key bill, and it finally got rid of all the Biden former money that was being spent for the budget. It passed by a 220 to 207 vote. The other three spending bills passed by 341 to 88 vote.
Did that include the ACA? Wait, this is Congress or Senate you're talking
This
about?
is Congress.
Okay, never mind.
This is Congress.
Congress already passed theirs.
The Congress passed the bill funding ICE, also funding the Pentagon. The Defense Committee Chairman Ken Calvert said that keeping America safe is our top priority in Congress, and the Defense Appropriation Bill passed today. And we'll talk to Congressman Hill about that when he's on here in a few minutes. Will help achieve that fundamental objective. The bill advances the strategic goals as chairman of the Defense Subcommittee, which align with the Trump administration's America First agenda. Our service members are the most essential component of our national security strategy, of course, and this bill invests in those heroes with a 3.8% pay raise and continues pay increases for junior enlisted service members. The fiscal year 2026 Defense Appropriations Bill advanced completely Chairman Calvert's national security priorities, champions America's military superiority by enhancing investments in fifth and sixth generation aircraft, boasting production of munitions critical to winning conflicts with pacing adversaries like China, maximizing American production through funding the establishment of a civil reserve manufacturing network at $177.4 million, accelerating hypersonic flight tests by providing $4.5 billion for hypersonic test infrastructure and into the testing and weapon systems, scaling capacity of critical suppliers by allowing the Office of Strategic Capital to access over $4.3 billion in loans and loan guarantees, enabling increased competition through elevated investments in the Defense Invocation Unit, and accelerate the procurement and fielding of innovative technologies, or APFIT, at $400 million. Total cost for our defense, $839 billion.
And I'm happy to pay that.
Yeah, that's what the government, that's what the government's supposed to be doing.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
That's what they're supposed to do.
That's why we have a country in the first place.
All right, 25 after. Let's go ahead and get a break in. I'm late to the break, but they were late getting me on. So we'll take a break, and then we'll be back in just a moment. with you here on the Dave Elswick Show. Coming up at 7:35, we'll be joined by Congressman French Hill. We'll talk to him about that defense funding bill. We'll talk to him about they passed some other bills as well. The bill, the ending the taxpayer funding of international abortions that nobody has really talked about on the news, and I'm talking to everybody here. I mean, Fox wasn't even talking about this. You had as well, the House passed the set of bills to fund government and restoring what they call regular order. With the passage of the package, Republicans will have finally replaced the last of any Biden-era spending levels with Trump-era spending levels and policies. That, according to House Speaker Mike Johnson, he said after the vote, Congress is supposed to fund the government through 12 annual spending bills, though it often packages many of them together or simply extends current spending levels. The House has now passed all 12. That hasn't happened in years. And the Senate is expected to follow suit. The last time Congress approved all 12 appropriations bills was all the way back in March of 2024, finally under President Biden just before he left the White House. All right, time for Bill O'Reilly. Let's get to him here on the Dave Elswick Show. Raise. Is my mic on? All right, I'm back with you. We're waiting for the congressman to give us a call. And I just heard back from their people saying, we just pinged him. So
Maybe he overslept. Congressmen are allowed to do that.
He knows that he needs to call us, so he'll call us, and we'll have him on until 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock, look for Robert Steinbach sometime within that 8 o'clock area to join us here on the Dave Elswick Show. I'm giving everybody dispensation this week because they've got to find a new studio.
Right.
I've given them, I think I've given them good directions. I told Robert, take Shackelford and then turn to the right on Shackelford, follow it until you hit Rodney Parham, turn left, go past Party City or Party Time, whichever you look at it. And
right next to Burger King.
It's the first turn into the parking lot right there. You come into the building, come to the second floor, come to office 210. So it's pretty clear about how to get here. It's
you pass
not
Burger
difficult.
King, you've gone too far.
Yes.
Bring Dave an egg for sandwich.
Yeah. No. Give me a croissant.
That's the only thing I like.
I like what they serve better than what McDonald's serves for breakfast.
Yeah.
Look, I'm a big English muffin eater, but I just find Egg McMuffins dry city.
Yeah, I don't like McDonald's. I don't eat breakfast anyway.
That's best. I love breakfast.
It makes me ill. Eggs make me feel sick.
Yeah, well, I don't have that problem. I eat my weight in eggs during the course of a month. But I like eggs for breakfast. I like eggs, sausage, and toast.
It just gave me heartburn right there.
I'm big on all of that stuff.
Yeah, I know. We used to go to Denny's. Remember?
Yeah.
Back in the day,
used to get the
Grand Slam
all the time.
And they went and closed it down.
Yeah, they closed that one down, but they still have one open here in the city, and it's over by the.
Isn't it down on Asher? Or is that Waffle House?
They've got one that's right on I-30, right in front of the big Walmart there in Benton.
Oh, in Benton, yeah, I saw it last night. I thought of you last night because I passed it after the Right to Life thing with Scott Jensen. That was pretty good.
Speaking Right to Life, today is the Right to Life March in Washington, D.C. Going to be cold there today. The Vice President is speaking at the Right to Life March.
I just had flashbacks to Kamala Harris. No. I'm still not used to it being J.D. Vance.
I'm glad that it's Vance and Trump in the White House and not Kamala Harris.
For real.
And dimwit Walls that they put in there.
She was in Memphis yesterday, or the day before yesterday, I think.
Harris was?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense. That is a place where she'll find a lot of voters. She hasn't said that she will not run for president again, but all she has to do is watch what the talking heads are saying about her.
Come on now. Like, she literally owed money. She owed money. She was in debt after she got $1 billion in campaign funds.
Yep.
What do you think she's responsible? She's probably responsible for what happened in our debt right now. You know that because you know daggum Biden was not running things.
She didn't talk against it.
No.
She was.
What'd she say? I felt helpless. No, you have a due diligence to the country, not to the Democrats.
I felt helpless.
That's what she said.
You can say something. Mm-hmm. You can speak out if you're the vice president.
Speak your conscience.
Well, they don't have. You're talking to a Democrat here. They don't have a conscience.
Right.
They don't care what they do to people.
Nope.
They really just do not. The only way they do anything for people is if it turns into a vote.
Exactly. That's what they did. They realized, okay, well, if they've made slavery illegal, then we'll just use them to vote, to keep power.
Or
that's what they did, and it's lovely because African Americans, they don't even like to be called African Americans anymore. They're like, I'm not from Africa.
They're an American,
right? So those Americans, they are waking up. Remember what I used to say all the time? It's not going to come from me. It's not going to come from you. It's got to come from within the community.
That's the truth.
Right. And now they're speaking the truth. And I love it.
And they're learning. You know how they're learning all of this? By seeing things on TV that shows middle class black people and people in black community more and more now are middle class, and at that point, all of their decisions are pretty well the same way white folks are, driven by tabletop topics.
And another thing is they're seeing, but you're telling me that I can't achieve, yet you achieved, and you're telling me that I can't, or that the white people are keeping me down?
That's what they call soft slavery.
Right. And they're realizing that. Did you saw that clip I sent you yesterday?
Well, that's
from Don that lady was going off on Don Lemon.
Oh, well, and rightly so.
She was like, "You're married to a white man. How are you going to call a white man the devil?"
He can be married to a black man, and I would call him a devil.
I know, but no. He called white people the devil. And she's like, "You're married to a white man."
Yeah.
He's just baiting.
Well, that's what he always did.
Mm-hmm.
Always. When he was with CNN, that's what he always did it. All right, so let's go ahead and get the break that we got coming up at 47 early, and I will yell back at Congressman Hill's people again, and maybe they lost the new phone number.
Well, I was gonna say, maybe is he still? Are they doing a vote this morning or anything?
Not that I know of.
Because it's 8:41 there.
They told they're the ones that set up the time. They said that they couldn't do Wednesday. Could we do it on Friday? And the first time they said that they wanted to do it was at 8 o'clock, and I said no. Robert Steinbach comes on at that time, and I said
maybe you felt jaded because.
And then they said no. They came back, and yesterday we agreed on 7:35, and then late last night I was given a tweet, and it said, "Talk to you in the morning." So, and then they just sitting back said, "We just pinged him." So
he probably had, how it is.
Maybe he fell asleep.
Something happened. French likes to talk too. He might have been in a meeting that ran over.
We don't know. We'll find out. So let's take a break. Then I'll be back here on the Dave Elswick Show. All right, it's a quarter until 8 o'clock. We're supposed to have Congressman Hill on. And, when I get a text back from him and they tell me not sure where he's at, we've texted him, we've called him, and then it says working on it. That worries me.
Yeah, it makes it like a start of a bad movie.
Well, it makes me worry about, did something happen
at the Capitol
while he's driving in or whatever. I mean, it's crazy. I'll be glad when they mount these. All right.
Oh, I thought you just spilled your coffee everywhere.
No.
I was like, Dave.
I've got the talk back buttons and stuff. They've gotten that for me, though, but they haven't mounted them.
Yes, because we can whisper while y'all can't hear us, and
Yeah.
we can talk to each other.
And I could talk him. I want to give Steve credit. He talked to the engineers, and now on the talkback, whenever you and I are talking, all the other headphones of the people who are
Can't
in
hear it?
here cannot hear it.
No.
And because that always throws them off.
Right. They don't, yeah.
If you're a guest on my show and you're sitting here and let's say we're talking about, some kind of economic policy for the state, and all of a sudden in the background you go, Dave, you got 10 seconds. And everybody stops talking. They just look at me. And,
They're like, should we be quiet? Like deer in the headlights.
Deer in the headlights at that point.
I've been on that side. I've been there.
So now you won't hear that stuff anymore. And I'm glad we did it. That was one of the biggest things people had to get used to on TV.
Right.
Because in television, not only are you hearing the directions for yourself, but you're hearing all the directions for camera people and everything.
Right.
And you just got to ignore that. If they're going to talk, I used to tell the producers of the shows, the main director, I would just say, if you want me to hear something, say, hey, Dave, and then state it. Do not question me about it, because I may look right directly at the camera and said, could you repeat that for me? Right. And then everybody who's watching it goes, what's he talking about? Has he got an invisible friend? Kind of thing.
You're crazy. He's losing his mind.
Yeah, see, I knew they were crazy. They talk to themselves. No, it's just really crazy. That's a little inside knowledge for you. Well, I'm hoping that the congressman gets to us, because I really want to talk to him about the bills that passed yesterday. We're finally seeing no kind of we're finally done with the Biden era.
Gosh.
Budgeting.
It's so nice, isn't it? Like, it's so nice. Like,
Well, yeah. And, we had Dave Fisher on yesterday talking gold and silver with us, but they talked about how a lot of those programs that the Biden administration put into effect, and I don't know if Biden helped put those things in. I don't know what Biden did or didn't know when he was president. I know that he wasn't cognitively all there all the time. So
all the time, the last 3
so
years.
who was running it? I mean,
Kamala, Hunter.
we already had a crazy time in our history when that went, during the time that I'm trying to think of the presidency, Woodrow Wilson had a stroke, and he could not do the office, and they know this for a fact, and his wife signed the laws, and she faked his signature.
And all those laws should be null and void.
Well, like the income tax.
Yeah. We should go back, and if she signed it, this should be null and void.
Yeah, well, nobody wants to take that on. Nobody wants to do that. It'd be you talk about a mess, it'd be a big mess.
Yeah, just give everyone back their money.
Yeah.
Reparations.
That ain't going to happen. You know it, I know it. But, that they were passing laws. They were signing laws. Remember, we were in the midst of a world war with Woodrow Wilson in World War I, and that was just incredible. Hey, I watched a movie last night, and the reason that I turned it on is that the guy who played James Bond was in it, Daniel Craig.
I was going to say which one.
and he played a.
I like Daniel Craig.
He played a high up NCO in the British Army, and it was about the Battle of the Somme. Are you familiar with the Battle of the Somme?
No.
Okay. The day that they attacked the British, that day that they attacked the Germans, and it was during a time when the machine gun was brand new technology. They advanced with over 60,000 men, attacked the German trenches, and nearly 40,000 died.
Gosh.
They just mowed them down, because here's what they told the people. Just walk. Don't run, just walk. That way you won't expend too much energy. Well, they look, it was a new kind of warfare suddenly.
Yeah,
the machine gun.
I'm running.
You had machine guns all the way across the ridge.
But your instinct would kick in.
A 2,000-mile front.
Oh.
Think about that.
Yeah. But my instinct is I'd still run.
And anyway, well, I'm sure once the was going on, that they all picked up their pace.
Chaos ensued.
And they saw the guy next to him get eviscerated by the machine guns. It was a terrible movie. I mean, the whole movie.
What's the name of it again? Battle at what?
You shouldn't. It was about the Battle of the Somme.
Okay.
SOMME.
Is it a newer movie?
No, I think it looked like it. The last 5 years it had been made.
Recent.
And it's a good movie. It's got Sylvan Murray in it as well. It was good. You know who he is?
No.
Okay, he played Oppenheimer.
I still haven't seen that
movie.
yet either.
Oh my God, you need to watch that. That's a great movie.
Is that Jeremy? Who plays in
Oppenheimer? Sylvan Murray.
He plays him.
Murphy, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I know. Have you ever watched Pinky Blinders?
Yes, I have watched some of that.
That's Sylvan Murray.
Oh yeah, I like him.
He's the head guy.
I like him.
Yeah, and he's really a good actor. And so anyway, he played just an NCO in the British Army, working with these guys, and he's getting ready to go up the ladder, come out the trench, right, and into no man's land, which is you're on a field. There's nothing around you to stop the bullets, and this is the first time they've ever led a charge against, machine gun nests, and it didn't. It was the bloodiest day in British military history. It's a really well done movie.
Really, I'll have to check it out.
About how they're talking, how he's
Craig.
talking to the men and keeping them ready to go over the top, and they zero in on like 4 or 5 characters, and all of those guys die in the thing, and they show each of them being killed in the battle, and it would freeze it for just a moment, so you knew that was Murphy, this was is Harry, and
so it's different directing.
Yeah, no, it was just
cinematography.
It was all set up. It was all set up so that they made it as personal as possible.
Nice.
As you watched it, because I'm going to tell you what, if you're ever into a situation where somebody else is shooting at you, it's something that you'll never forget. You'll never forget. My wife and I went to see Saving Private Ryan, and in Saving Private Ryan, when the very beginning of it is Omaha Beach, of course, from D-Day. And the thing that I told my wife that they got exceptionally well was the sound of bullets going through the air. It sounded exactly like that. I came out of my seat, because I didn't do anything big. I was with Delta Force. I was filming stuff for the Department of Defense over in Grenada. But I'm going to tell you what, I'll never forget the sound of those bullets.
Oh, I bet. Yeah. It's something that lingers.
Going around. And the Cubans were not very good fighters. and our people just had to mop them up, is what it was, and it was pretty brutal.
So they weren't like Scarface.
Yeah, the first few days.
Right.
Yeah, well, they were running at us, and then they were falling down.
Wow.
And it was crazy. It really was. And anybody that I talked to by myself who've been in a battle will tell you they never want to go through it again. The guys that that battles, serving in the military and being in a war, think that it's cool. Are people that really weren't there. Because I'm just telling you, what Patton said to his troops before they went to Germany in World War II, and he says, a lot of you wondering if you'll know what to do when the enemy starts firing on you, and he made the statement. The speech he gives at the beginning of the movie is an actual speech from George Patton to his men.
Oh, okay.
And he says, when you put your hand in the mush that just a moment ago was your best friend's face, you'll know what to do. And you get transported from reality to what you think is unreality, and it's really still reality, and it's not a good place to be.
Yeah.
It really is not. I never want to be in a war zone again. That's why you always hear people who say, we need to take up arms and take our government back. No, the last thing you want to do is take up arms.
That's what people think. People are like, oh, you gun happy people. Last thing anybody wants to do is take another person's life.
I would hope so. Because even though he's the enemy, in the back of your mind, you understand
why he's fighting.
Yeah, he's fighting for his country.
What he believes in.
He's doing the same thing you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And
just because he's wrong doesn't mean he deserves to die.
Yeah, your goal is take his life.
Right.
That's exactly what you have to do. All right, we've got a break coming up. Looks like the congressman's not going to be with us, so we'll shoot for next Wednesday.
Wednesdays when they usually
have him
come
back on, and
that was our fault because the phone lines didn't light. They were on silent, and I think we didn't see him when he called Wednesday.
No, he didn't call.
Oh, he didn't call. Okay,
no,
okay.
They had called me and told me that he had a meeting.
Because Westerman called Bruce Westerman, and it lit up. We didn't see. We're like, oh shoot, somebody's calling.
Yep. So Bruce did a good job. Joy talking to him and his committee and what they're going to be doing. All right, let's take a break. We'll have news top of the hour, and then we'll be hearing from Robert Steinbach here in a few moments on the Dave Elswick Show. All right, back with you here on the Dave Elswick Show, and I just got message from Robert Steinbach. He's on his way. All right.
Did he go to the old studio?
No, he just got out of the house a little bit late. He's on his way, and the distance between his house and the tower and his house and here is about the same.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was wondering what my time would be like coming into work, and I think I'm about 2 minutes later than what I would be if I was going
I
over.
clocked mine as 4 minutes.
I go straight. I come straight down 6:30 to 4:30. I get off at 4:30. I go to Rodney Parham Road, get off there, hang a left.
So you don't go 40?
No.
I would think that would be faster.
No. I can try, but it's really
because you go over the bridge.
Yeah.
And going. Well, I don't know. It might not be because going is when it's backed up.
Well, you got that. Plus, you got to travel all that area out on I-40 to get to where you turn to be on the to get on the loop around the city. All right, that's the big thing.
Yeah, right there. Yeah.
And then you got to come back a little bit. And bottom line is, it takes me about 2 minutes longer.
Well, it actually takes me 9 minutes to get to Riverside Park.
Oh, really?
From out here. Yeah.
No, that's not bad.
Mm-mm.
That's not bad at all.
And I take 40.
Yeah, and yeah, it's fast. You get on the expressway, it doesn't take long at all.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I was here early today. I mean, I was here at about 25 after 6. Problem was, I went to grab my keys, and I didn't have my keys to get into the building, so I was sitting in my car. I saw you pull up.
Well, I thought you were on the phone or something.
No.
I didn't want to bother you.
Nope. I was sitting there. I was looking at websites, getting caught up on the news.
I mean, that's all
missed.
I do. That's crazy that we are so much alike. Like, that's all I do is when I have a free moment, like when I'm sitting at a light, I'll look and see is there any new news?
It drives my wife nuts.
It drives my kids nuts.
Because I'm always keeping up with stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And yesterday, and with this whole Davos thing that was going on in Switzerland, news was just a popping.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to keep up on it. And that is even, I know that I'm not going to be on until the next day, but I want to be up on what they're talking about. Yesterday, they started talking about Greenland, and some of the details started leaking out about what was going to happen. And I wanted to know a little bit about that. And, it looks like they're going to give us the use of Greenland for in perpetuity, forever. And that's a good thing.
Because they know that we'll defend it.
Yep.
And we know the Chinese and Russians aren't going to get it.
They're going to get the Golden Dome.
Right.
Because of it. Who would turn that away?
So are there people still protesting that? Because I didn't see. I know they took to the streets to protest.
Look.
We're going to protect you, and you're going to protest it?
Several people just hate Trump.
I know.
I mean, I don't understand it, but they do. They just hate Trump. I didn't hate Obama.
No, I mean, I couldn't stand his voice.
I didn't like listening to his policies because his policies were socialist.
Right.
And the same thing with Biden.
Right.
I mean, if you're a conservative, when you have your president of the United States says, we're declaring war on carbon-based fuels.
You can't have a gas stove.
You can't.
What?
We're not in a position to get rid of carbon-based fuel sources. You do that, number one, because of the difference in cost. The Green New Deal stuff costs probably twice as much as using oil or natural gas and coal. And it would be even less doing your electricity if we could get back to doing coal, as far as that's goes. And the scrubbers on the stuff that's coming out of the energy plants are scrubbed. That stuff is scrubbed clean, and that was led by the coal companies themselves. The government didn't need to tell them.
Right.
In fact, then when they did tell them, the coal industry showed them their scrubbers were doing better than what they were wanting them to do in the first place.
Right.
So, it's just crazy.
Yeah.
It's just like somebody from Greenpeace or from Sierra Club or whatever will talk about mercury in the water.
Right.
In the last, let's go to the last 5 years, that when we were doing basically coal, you know what the measurement of mercury was around us in water supply? Zip. Non-existent.
What do you think? What do you think is going to happen with this new AI, the new facility that we're building here on the riverfront? I guess it's.
I have no idea.
I think there needs to be a lot more investigation into that. I mean, it's already passed. It's already going to happen. Like, we're already going to get it, but a new AI, building. But there's a lot of cities that have had those put in. There's a lot of toxicity that goes with that, with the water, because it has to have a lot of water to function.
Well, they figure this stuff out. I mean, I understand that there may be some things that we don't know what the repercussions are going to be for some of this new technology, but I do know that we figure it out and we take care of it.
Yeah, but I don't want people to get poisoned in the meantime.
Well,
so we figure it out.
But you can't wait. If you wait, other countries are not waiting.
Yeah.
And
no, I'm for it being here because that's a big deal. But we have to do it right. You can't just. That's not something you can just.
Let me just say. Let me take you back to 1945 when we tested the atomic bomb. And we had military men and women sitting out on the test range.
Maybe that's what's wrong with liberals now.
But the key is
were you on the test range when
you're getting into completely new technologies? You don't know everything. That's one thing I used to like. The old saying I heard: you can prepare for the things that you don't know how to deal with, but it's hard to get things clear and take care of the things that you don't know.
But they've built enough of these by now that they know. Like, there's been enough of them. Like in Tennessee, there's one. There's enough of them, and don't make me go all Aaron Brockovich on you.
Well, maybe perhaps they haven't found anything. I mean, they have levels that they have to meet,
right?
On things like that. I mean, it's like when you try to sit down and have a talk with somebody about nuclear power, and they want to talk about 3 Mile Island. We're not doing 3 Mile Island nuclear power now. We're not doing Chernobyl power now. We learned from those things, and we're not doing those things. You listen to people talk about all the pipelines that we have running across the United States. If we have one leak, it'll spoil X amount of acres of land. Well, what are we supposed to do? Not move oil at all?
I mean, you either want to use it for all your TVs and your gadgets, and you either want the electricity for everything to light up your whole house, to drive your big cars, or you don't. What is it?
I'm going to find that piece from Landman where he's talking to the woman
on the field.
Yeah, out in the field about
the lawyer.
Of course, the fans out there, the big wind machines. And he just starts naming, we're set up for the next 200 years for oil, folks. Mm-hmm. Get used to it.
Not to mention all the coal that has to power those, to power those ships to get the stuff here to build those. It's like the EVs, the cars.
Yeah,
like that stuff has to be shipped over here. You understand that, right?
Well, as far as batteries and all the rest.
Yeah, it doesn't just come by airplane.
No, and the other thing that happens with all the EVs, what do you do with the batteries when you have to dispose of them?
Well, that's why they want you to send them back. They want you to send your phones back so that they can redo them. They can get that lithium out of there.
Are they going to pay me for it?
No, they don't. I know. It's a scam, isn't it? It's such a scam.
They take it. You
done paid $1,000 for that phone, and then they don't want to give you anything back for it.
but they'll make money off of it,
Right.
as far as it's concerned.
Because
So
they'll repurpose it.
I'll be interested to see where all. Look, technology will help us move forward.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I remember back in the 90s. You probably don't remember this.
I do, Dave. I was a teenager in the 90s.
Okay. Do you remember when they were telling you that we were going to run out of oil?
Yeah. Reagan. It was
Was
Bill
it?
Clinton was in 92.
Yeah, it was during Clinton era.
Yeah.
They started really talking about it. And I said at that point, when I talked to my friends and stuff, I wasn't doing talk radio at that time, but I said, look, we'll come up with new technologies. And what happened is that's when we learned how to frack.
Mm-hmm.
And now we got more oil than we know what to do with.
Mm-hmm.
And
But
it's something to keep in mind.
I follow this woman on Facebook. I'm not going to mention her name because she's always trying to get people to mention her name. And anyway, if people probably know who I'm talking about. She posted this video, and it was she bought this house, and she got it for like a third of what it was. It was like a $250,000 house, and she got it for like $300,000.
Okay.
In the background, though, from 6 o'clock to 10 o'clock at night, they're fracking.
Okay.
And she tried to play it to where you hear it, but nobody can really tell what it is. It just sounds like some wind. But she was like, all hours of the night, she's like, this has got to stop. And I'm like,
You're the
you
one
bought
who
the
moved
house,
next to
and
it.
that's probably why your house was a third of what.
That's something
Right.
that I don't understand, and this goes back
She thought she was
to
getting a deal.
airports. All right, you build an airport, and then the people want to live around it, and then they complain. They want noise laws passed
Mm-hmm.
that you got to take off a plane a certain direction so that the noise doesn't bother your subdivision.
Or do sound barrier tests like they held Elon
You're the
accountable
one
for.
who moved there.
Right. Mm-hmm.
It's just part of the deal that you're going to deal with.
But once they get there, it's just like everything else. Once they get there, they want to change it.
Yep.
It's just like illegal immigrants.
Yeah.
Once they come over, because it's the illegals. Don't get me wrong. It is not the legal immigrants. The people that come here the right way, they don't want to change this.
No, they want to come
America.
here and get their piece of the American dream.
Right, but the illegals, they want to come here and change it because that's why they're here.
And they want us to take care of them.
Yes, the audacity of them.
Yeah.
Like, how do you just the entitlement? Like, I will take. No, you can't go to any other country and they'll take care of you.
No.
You can't even get across Canada if you have like if you have something on your record from like my ex-husband. He was 17 and he had something on his record where he took a girl home and he had a Playboy in his. They charged him with like pornography. He was just giving her a ride home. It wasn't even a girlfriend or anything.
Right.
And he had a Playboy in his jacket, and they charged him with that. They went back. We were in our 30. We were like 35 when we were going to Alaska to move to Alaska. We couldn't. They held us up for like an hour at the border. They wouldn't going to let us pass. They checked how much money we had. They made sure we had our birth certificates for our children, and they checked all of our backgrounds like that. But that was like in 2001.
So they thought they were Gandalf.
Yeah.
You will not pass.
You will not pass. Yeah. and then other Canadian checkpoints, like when because you got to go through Canada.
Yeah.
You got to go through Canada, and then you got to go through again the checkpoint to get to Alaska. The one at Alaska, there was nobody. We just got to move the cone.
Okay.
And
Well.
It was like, what? This is crazy.
Did you
So
like
barely
living-
let us
did
through
you
here,
like
but to
living
get to
in
America,
Alaska?
you move the cone.
Did you like it up there?
I love it up there. It's
Okay.
beautiful. It's cold, but it's dry. Like he was saying yesterday about it being dry.
Yeah.
It's a different kind of cold.
Well, that's like where I grew up when I was a kid. It was cold, but I was right by the lake, so there's a lot of moisture in the air, and it gets bone-chilling cold.
The wind is what I don't like.
It will rip right through you. And but it's like going to Vegas, and they tell you it's going to be 104 today, and I would
really
go
not
out,
that,
and you feel like it's 92.
Mm-hmm. Because there's no humidity.
But it still has an effect on your body.
Oh, yeah.
To do that. All right, 20 minutes after 8. Let's take a break. Robert should be getting here any moment here on the Dave Elswick Show. Back with you here on the Dave Elswick Show. Robert Steinbach is on his way. He'll join us, but this is his first day in coming to the new studio. So I'm going to give him dispensation today. That he might be a little late, but that's okay. He texted me and said I'm running a little late, so that's let me know that he would join us. Looking at the news today and what's going on as far as the news is concerned, we've been talking about what the president is up to. J.D. Vance is going to speak at the March for Life. I think he's already spoken now, but there's a lot of, I didn't realize it, but today marks the annual March for Life in D.C. It's the fourth March. Okay, the Roe v. Wade was overturned by the Supreme Court back in 2022, so a long time ago now. The theme for the march today is Life is a Gift, and will be complemented by the Friends of Club 21 Choir, a dynamic group of young adults with Down syndrome who will sing the national anthem. Joining the Vice President as Speaker is Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, and host of pro-life activist. Pope Leo XV, or 14th, addressed the participants in advance, stressing that the protection of the right to life constitutes the indispensable foundation of every other human right. Leo said that society is healthy and truly progresses only when it safeguards the sanctity of human life and works actively to promote it. In this regard, Leo continued, I would encourage you, especially the young people, to continue striving to ensure that life is respected in all of its stages through appropriate efforts at every level of society, including dialogue with civil and political leaders. The magazine Catholic State had an article and said, Life is a gift is a universal message that speaks to the heart, cuts through the noise. Jeannie Bradley Lichter, president of the March for Life Education and Defense Fund, said that through this theme we are showing the world that we are a movement of compassion for women and love for unborn children, united by the simple yet world-changing belief that no matter the circumstances, every single life is a gift. So those are the types of things that they're talking about in Washington, D.C. today. Of course, we had the March for Life here in Arkansas last week, and I'm glad that they did it last week and weren't looking at doing it this weekend, because there's nobody to be out because of the bad weather.
So that's going on today in D.C. That's probably what happened to French. There's probably somebody there from Arkansas that wanted to talk to him.
They said that he was pulled to the side.
Yeah, I bet you somebody had a last-minute meeting here from Arkansas in the district.
It's possible. It's not like they put their life on hold when they're going to be on the show. We are really lucky that we have our congressional delegation on as much as we do.
Right.
I can't think of, I think over Christmas, Westerman missed one day, but he was with me every other Wednesday.
Last night at the Right to Life banquet.
Was Bruce there?
No, but he came up in a conversation because somebody was like, I love Bruce. And I told my son the day before yesterday, whenever he was on, I was like, that is one congressman that has stuck to what he initially got elected on. We helped him get elected, and he literally is one of the best congressmen. And I wish he was our congressman, like, honestly, but I mean, French has done a great job too, but Bruce is just so legit. Well, he's just such a good
he's like Trump.
person.
He says what he's going to do, and he does what he says.
And he's not double-crossing anybody, and he's not...
Not that I know of.
No, right. But he's just literally done what he said he was going to do.
Yeah. And, I've had Bruce on this show ever since 2010.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember.
That he's been on. He's the man, and I always ask if he feels vindicated because he was the first person that talked about the money for students would follow them to whatever school they went to.
Right.
And I remember when he first brought that up on my show, and I remember that people said to him, well, they called him every name in the book but his real name.
Right.
All right, they called him everything. And but he stuck to his guns about it, and he was talking with Miss Kennedy and others that we have on the show from time to time, too. I mean, next week we'll have Lori Lee on to talk about Education Month. She'll join us and talk about that. And it's you know, people are going to understand that freedom of education that we've passed here in the state was a big get as far as the citizenry of Arkansas.
I don't particularly care for what's happening. You know, you see the audits about what the people are buying with their money for school stuff now. Like it's crazy some of the things that they're letting them get away with buying. Of course, they'll probably put a stop to all of that. Like, I think one lady bought a bunch of chickens because she was calling it agriculture, homeschooling chickens.
No, okay.
I mean, just stuff like that's crazy. That's literally been reimbursed.
Well, we'll find out about
But
it.
I do agree that you should be able to go wherever you want to go to school, your child.
So anyway, you know, that's the only real big dispensation I give to the governor is that she got that through. You know that I was all about school choice a long time ago.
Yeah, oh yeah. I was getting ready to say.
And then Bruce came on and we covered it, and it's funny to talk to him about education. And I'm surprised he hasn't got up in front of the TV stations here locally and said, "Told you." You know, he hasn't done that. All right, we're going to have news. You might have heard say, "Are you on here?" That was Robert Steinbach. You know, because well, that's all right. You just found the new studio. All right, it's not in the same place. You got to find it. You leave and you go looking. All right, so let's take a break. We got news coming up, and we'll find out what's happening in the United States and around the world. Are we back?
Yeah, we're back on.
We're back now.
This
Okay.
time I know when we're on.
I'm sitting here. I was sitting here talking to Robert and asking him if he had problems finding his way here, and he didn't. He came a completely different way than I told him to come, but that's all right.
That's all right.
You got here.
It's a very nice studio, I got to say, Dave. And tell your corporate folks, it's really a nice place.
Yeah, they're
I'm
doing.
impressed.
They still haven't gotten it all done.
Of
but
course not.
It's going to be done here in the next couple of weeks. We moved here on Monday.
Yeah.
That was my first day here
Gotcha.
in the new studio. I like it. I like it a lot.
Very nice. Really, very nice.
Hey, how do you like my? Did you talk to my new producer when you came in?
No, because I spoke to Steve. Hey, hello. Well, she's on the
Val.
phone. Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
where do I know her from?
From my show?
From being on the show. Right. Well, there you go. But not as a producer, right?
No.
Right, as a guest.
She was a guest for a while.
Right.
Okay. All right. I'll be right. We'll be right with him. All right.
Yeah.
I'll go wait till I get to a break, and then I'll talk to him. People who call me up during, between 7 o'clock and 11 o'clock. Remember, I'm on
the air.
I'm on the radio. I can't just stop. And maybe that's what I should do, though. Maybe I should just put my phone calls, on the
Right
air.
on the air. I love it.
And just let them talk to me.
On occasion, of course, I'll get a phone call while I'm in class, and I usually mute the phone, but
Yeah.
sometimes I forget. That's why I don't get mad at students, by the way, because,
Right.
of course, you forget. It's a big deal. Just turn it off, right? So there's a colleague of mine who, a couple of years now back, left to go to another school. But before he went, the first year he left, the students still knew him because he just left.
Yeah.
And so one time he called while I was in class. He didn't know when I was in class, and I put him on speaker and let him talk to the whole class.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
cool.
But you have to warn your friends. Hey, if you guys are calling 7 to 11 or 10, whatever the time is, you're going on the air.
Yeah, and I'm going to break FCC regs, and I'm just going to put you on.
Do the regs require you to inform
Yes,
people?
Now you do. You have
I
to
see.
inform people they're on the radio.
I see.
It was so much better when we didn't have to.
Then you would do those prank call things,
Yes,
right?
Yeah.
Oh, those were hilarious.
I called up White Castle one time complaining about all the gas that I got from eating spiders, and it was hilarious.
Oh, I
I
love
wish
it.
you could have heard.
Right.
I wish I stayed.
Recorded them.
Yeah,
Right.
kept that stuff, but it wasn't as easy to keep things back then as
course
it
not.
is now.
Of course not.
As far as going to do that. All right, so the Supreme Court. This is why I have Robert on every week because
Absolutely. For what, like 15 years now, right? Maybe
yeah,
at least.
Yeah, the key is this: is that I have Robert on to talk about the legal issues that are impacting our domestic and international policies.
Of course.
And I got to have somebody. Look, I can play a lawyer. I sleep at Holiday Inn once in a while, and I can get by on doing that. But when we have Robert on, even he sometimes I'll bring up something to him before he comes on the air, and he says I don't feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Talking about that because I'm not versed in it.
I got into a Facebook debate about Missy Wardlaw, and we'll talk about that, I'm sure, today, and with some young lawyer who just doesn't understand the significant amount of the law that he was referring to. And I told him in the Facebook post, you're simply wrong. And I tell you all that to say it's really one of my growing frustrations in the law is when attorneys figure, let me throw something out there and see what sticks and see. It's like, well, no. Like one of the claims was you could only settle a case outside of district court, which is the lowest court in Arkansas, if it's a traffic ticket. Well, no. With district court, you settle all sorts of cases. You plead out all sorts of cases.
Right.
Without having to have the client show up in court. That's common. Now, this is not an important point for your audience, but it's like if you can't agree as to that, then how are you going to
do the stuff to get to the Supreme Court?
Right.
Because I listen to the arguments because you can go back and listen to the recordings
That's right.
as they're talking about a particular issue, and it was about men or trans athletes.
Right, right.
And I wanted to hear what they had to say. And, I still think they made a mistake in letting Brown be on the Supreme Court. She still doesn't understand what a woman is.
Well, listen, I would not have voted for her because her viewpoint of how our legal system does work and is supposed to work is so contrary to what I think is correct. Meaning, if I'm not a senator, I'll never be a senator. But if I were
don't want to be a senator.
Well, indeed. But I mean, my point is, I'm not trying to make myself sound more important than I am. But I think there needs to be a common understanding of sort of the role of judges, how our law is supposed to operate. And I think her views are outside of my understanding, which is common with some people, but not others, right? I think that judges are supposed to have limited roles. I think laws are supposed to be laws and have meaning and not reflections of the preferences of the polity at any given time. I don't believe in a living constitution.
No, neither do I.
Right. Well, last time I saw a constitution, it was on a piece of paper mounted to the wall, and so I didn't see it breathing or eating, right?
Right.
So I don't know how it's living. Her views are actually the most extreme on the court. Kagan, who's a liberal and whose views I don't like, is not nearly as leftist as is Brown, right?
Yeah, she turned me completely against her when she was at her confirmation hearing and was asked by was it Blackburn over in Tennessee? Senator Blackburn asked her, "What is a woman?" And she says, "I don't know. I'm not a biologist."
Well, it's really right, and so if this goes back precisely to what I just mentioned, which is if we can't agree on the sort of common sense things, things that everybody should be on the same page about, then we have a problem with our legal system and our political system. And she can't tell you what a woman is. The same thing with Missy Wardlaw's running against John Kyle Day in District 94. And the trial judge here in Pulaski County, in Day's motion to disqualify Wardlaw, said, well, it says on her disposition for her hot check crime, guilty/bond forfeiture. I can't say, says the trial judge here at Kathleen Compton, that means she's guilty. Wait, what? I can't say that means she was convicted. Wait, what?
Right.
So, I mean, that's like, and that's what today's column is about. And we'll read through it later. But that's the equivalent to me of what is a woman. And hopefully the Supreme Court will straighten out this mess regarding District 94.
All right. We got a couple of minutes here before we're going to take a break. So your article today in the Dem Gas is about Wardlaw.
Yeah. You want me to tell you about it now?
Yeah, might as well set us up.
Right. So let me pull it up. So remember, John Kyle Day is running against Wardlaw for the House position. Wardlaw is running for her husband's position because he's term limited. And I don't like when this happens, right? This is, isn't it fair? Anybody can run. Yeah, but when you're playing tag team, and Wardlaws are not the only ones to do this. When you're playing tag team with a position, I don't like it. We got plenty of Arkansans and plenty of Americans. We don't need dynasty elections. So that's the first problem. Second problem is the husband was a lousy voter. The guy started out as a Democrat. Wardlaw was elected as a Democrat. And then when Republicans took over, after a bit, he decided he was a Republican. Really?
Of course, because he wanted to continue being elected.
Right. And he had some controversy with nursing homes, and he was owned something, and he was also the chairman of the committee. So just stuff I don't like. So she's running against John Kyle Day, who's a conservative history professor at Arkansas Monticello. That's pretty good. And she had a hot check misdemeanor. She went in, she paid it instead of going to court like you pay a traffic ticket.
Yeah.
That's the testimony of the clerk is that she went and she paid it. And the clerk says, and I recount, I take the transcript of the hearing, and the clerk says, yeah, this is just like a traffic ticket. If you don't want to go to trial on a traffic ticket, come in and pay it. That's the end of it. But you, Dave, know when you go and you pay a traffic ticket, that means you're guilty.
Yeah.
You don't pay it and say, I'm not guilty. It means you're convicted. And you know how you know this? Because your insurance company finds out about it, and they will often, not always, but often raise your rates up.
Yes.
All right? You know, life's not always fair or fun, but I get it. So if they think you're guilty and you think you're guilty, how come she thinks she ain't guilty? And Kathleen Compton, who's this liberal judge here in Pulaski County, said on the record, she said, well, if you get a traffic ticket and pay it, that means you've been convicted? That means you're guilty? Yes!
Yeah,
yes!
We'll talk about this when we come back, a break, and then we got more of the Dave Elswick Show coming up. All right, so are you guilty or aren't you guilty? And it sure seems like to me, if I come, because look, I had a hot check one time. I wrote something, and I thought I had the money in the bank, but I didn't, and it came.
But by the way, that shouldn't be a conviction because you're supposed to have at least the intention or understanding that you didn't have the money. If now maybe a judge doesn't believe you, but just making a mistake is not a crime. Oh, you have to have some knowledge that I'm going to write it and I'll get the money in quickly, kind of thing.
Well,
you know?
they called me,
right,
and they sent me a letter, and I came. I went right to their office, and I paid the amount of the check. I didn't even know the check had bounced.
Right, this is to the vendor.
Yeah.
Well, this is what's interesting. I don't know precisely what happened here in that regard, but typically vendors contact the person that wrote the bounce check, and it doesn't make it to the prosecutor unless the person who wrote the bounce check didn't fix it. Yeah. Now, I don't know what precisely happened here, but that seems odd to me that one would let it get this far. That's why typically when these cases are prosecuted, you have that evidence of intent, because they said, well, we sent the person a letter and called the person, and she didn't come in to pay it.
That's right. Okay,
you know?
Which is, at that point, you're breaking the law.
Well, exactly. And you want that person doing budget for the state, right? I mean, that's not good.
Okay, so her math skills aren't really good.
Yeah. By the way, she has another conviction. She had a traffic ticket, never showed up for the traffic ticket. They charged her with contempt of court, and then she paid that too. So
yeah, she wanted to make sure they were serious. Right?
That's right. That's right. Oh, you really meant that? Did you really mean that?
Yeah. You took out your time to send me a letter, and I had to wait for that to make sure you were really serious about this.
Right.
And it's crazy.
Right.
But it's crazy for the judge to say, well, I don't know if she's guilty
right.
or not. Well, yeah, she is.
It says guilty, bond forfeited. And this whole controversy stems from the fact that she went and paid the amount initially. And when they account for that in their system, because these are a bunch of bureaucrats, a bunch of computer geeks, they call the turning over of that money bond forfeiture. In reality, bond forfeiture is when you show up to court, you're charged with something, and the judge says, okay, I'll let you go for now. You got to come back for trial, but you got to pay a bond of $1,000. Right. And then if you don't show up, they forfeit that bond, not in punishment for the underlying crime, for not showing up. That's the other crime that Missy Wardlaw has been convicted of, by the way. So it has nothing to do with the underlying crime. So when they enter guilty, bond forfeited, they really seem to be saying guilty, paid the fine. So some of this is a function of imprecision in how they enter it. But anybody who actually practices in court understands, and anybody who goes through the facts of this case understands she was contacted. Actually, the sheriff came out and served her an arrest warrant. She called the clerk and said, what do I do? The clerk said, well, if you just want to get rid of it, pay the money,
come in and pay it.
Right.
Pay it to us. Don't write a check.
Right. And to be clear, right, don't write a check, yeah, right. And to be clear, she's paying two different things. She's paying the money she owes to the store, and then all the court stuff, a fine, a fee, a service, all of that she pays. So she does that, and now it's like, oh, I wasn't convicted? It's like a Kafka, Kafka has a famous novel called The Trial, which is just about sort of bizarre, Kafka's known to write absurdity. That's what this seems like, pure absurdity. And, of course, Kathy Compton, the judge here in Pulaski County, furthers the absurdity. Oh, I don't know, says Kathy Compton. I don't know if you pay a traffic ticket that you're convicted of a traffic ticket. You're a judge? Wake up!
Her last name isn't Solomon, is it?
No, it ain't. It ain't. I was once on a panel with her many years ago before she was a judge. You know what I can say about that?
What about?
She was a panelist.
Are you telling me she's not the sharpest tack?
I'm just saying that of all the things I can say about her sitting next to me on that panel is that she sat right next to me. That's what I can say.
Right. Yeah, and the question is, if you can't get the simple things right, how are you going to do with the complex things?
Ain't that the truth, Dave? And this is, I teach in law school, and my frustration is there are two issues when you teach, learn, and practice law. One is we create laws. Humans create laws, and we use words to create those laws. So we're flawed. So our laws are not like the laws of physics, immutable.
Right.
And words, even though what we are doing right now is using words to convey ideas to people, to your audience, and they are capturing those ideas, there's an imprecision, right? Words are good, but not perfect. And so that's the the vagary of law, which is we have words, we have a sense of what it means. So don't claim, oh, I can't understand it. And that's kind of the liberal position, right?
Yeah, see, that's why I always say when you're talking to a liberal, you got to have a different lexicon.
That's right. That's right.
And a lexicon is a dictionary of what words mean. All right.
Right. Right.
It's not a dictionary, but it's a lexicon.
Right.
So when you say guilty, you know that means that you broke a law, and basically you're kind of being punished for that. All right. So you understand that. But what if they say, well, I don't know if you're really guilty or not? Then you don't know.
Right. Right. Because, like I said, we wind up in this absurd world like the famous author Kafka wrote about in his book, The Trial. And so one of the things I teach is the vagary of language, and so we need to be able to go into court and say, I think the words mean this, and the other guy says, I think the words mean that. But the other problem is, let's be polite and say the imprecision of judges.
Okay.
Right? And by imprecision, I mean lousy work. Okay? Let's just get to it. The lack of quality judging. Right. Now, it's not universal. I think there are some very good judges. I had a very good judge in the trial that I had for those January 6 marchers who were not involved in any violence whatsoever. You remember I brought that defamation case when some real, real peach went after these two and attacked them and made false claims about them.
Has that been adjudicated?
Yeah, we won a trial.
Oh, okay,
a unanimous jury verdict up in Jonesboro. You know what? It's because we were on this break. I forgot. That's a big story. We need to talk about that. Unanimous jury verdict. We won $120,000 for these January 6 patriots who, again, were not involved in any violence. I don't condone the violence that took place on January 6th. Some people say there was no violence. That's not true. There was some violence. It just was, the whole thing wasn't. The vast majority were not violent.
That's correct.
And these people, we have video of my two clients every step of the way, or every sort of various points along the way is a more accurate way to say it. And in no instance do you even see any violence. This guy claimed they were terrorists and they were involved in a criminal mob.
Right, I remember all that. Right,
you remember all that? And so we went to trial. We won the trial, 5-day trial. Had a good judge by the name of Richard Lusby. Guess what, Dave? He didn't rule in favor of me on every motion. He ruled against me on some things. But even when he ruled against me, while I think he was wrong, and I say that not as a joke, right, but meaning, well, I wouldn't be making an argument if I didn't think I was right. So he ruled against me on some things. Given the vagary of language, given the vagary of law, I understand his position, meaning I don't think it's ridiculous. I think mine's the better position, but I don't think his position was ridiculous.
He wasn't out to get you.
Well, not only wasn't out to get me, whether any individual judge is out to get someone or is just doing a really, really bad job doesn't really much matter if they can't get the simple stuff right. And this decision that we had in Pulaski County got the simple stuff wrong. And that's a problem. But, overwhelmingly, not entirely, but overwhelmingly, the judges in Pulaski County are far leftist. I've written about Tim Fox recently, who's just sort of gone off the deep end by attacking an attorney in a case, verbally, to be clear, right? I want to make that clear. Then I, incidentally...
But he's a liberal, and if he attacked him with words, that was just as
all right, let's use it against him. Right, what is it? Silence is violence, and words are danger, or whatever it is, right?
Okay, we'll talk more about this when we come back here on the Dave Elswick Show. Back with the Dave Elswick Show. It's 9 o'clock hour. We've got 2 hours left for this week of the Dave Elswick Show. Then I'm going home and figuring that probably won't be coming into work Monday because the roads will be impassable. So it just goes with ice and snow here in the state of Arkansas. That's just the way it works. There was an article yesterday about Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn. Did you happen to read it?
I didn't read that one.
Okay,
I love them though.
They've been together for 42 years.
Yeah,
wow,
all right,
a long time.
They've never gotten married. They've asked people have asked them why, and they say we've been together for 42 years. Why do we got to get married? You know, we've committed ourselves to each other.
They got something that works.
Yeah.
After 42 years, I think it's fair to say, don't mess with it.
Well, the big story that came out of it, and I laugh. I mean, I'm just telling you, Val, you know I laugh at liberals. Loudly.
At their tears.
Loudly, yeah. And they were asking Goldie Hawn what was the glue that kept them together for 42 years. And she said, well, you know, we tend to think alike, although we do have our points of differences and things of that nature. And then she said, and you know what? I still think the guy is hot. You know, sexually, I'm still attracted to him. And everybody was going, she said that she's sexually attracted to him. And I started laughing.
Right.
I started laughing, and then I got coughing, and then I couldn't stop, and I thought I was going to die. But anyway, I was just cracking up because, you know, I'm still sexually attracted to Linda, my wife. Mm-hmm. I would hope that that's the case. You know, if it's not, you got a serious problem of, communication and commitment to each other. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was just very funny. I just found it funny. And that people were aghast. And I mean, you can hear the person ask the question and she says, well, I'm sexually attracted to him. So, and you can hear the person who asked the question go,
That's funny. That's funny.
It's like, see, this is the stuff that I have problems with the Supreme Court. And we're arguing over, can a man, a trans athlete, that is a man who thinks he is a woman, should be able to compete against women. He's not a woman.
You know, I read an article now several years ago, which I commented on at the time, maybe even on your show, Dave. And the headline in the New York Times was something along the lines of 78-year-old woman commits third murder. And I said, right, and now I don't usually read those kind of stories because whatever, right? I mean, it's tragic, murder, all that, but something seemed off on two levels, right? Meaning the vast majority of murderers are men, not women.
Right.
Doesn't mean that men are violent, but in that small subset of human beings that are very violent and violent enough to commit murder, there's an overwhelming domination of men in that group.
Right.
So that's the first problem. It's like, really? It's a third murder and it's a woman? That's a real outlier. Right. And then, similarly, when murderers commit murder are not typically in the age bracket of 78.
That's correct.
Now, this part, that happened. So that was true. So I read the article and get towards the end of the article, and it says it's a transgendered woman. So it's someone born as a biological male. Now, I don't care. I don't care what we call that person. That person wants to be called she. I'll call that person she. Other people do different. Whatever. I'm telling you what I do. I'll call that person she. I'll use whatever name that person wants. Sally, right? Whatever. I don't care about that. I won't let that person, if it's up to me, participate in female sports. Uh-huh. I won't let that person in women's showers and bathrooms.
Or put them in the women's jail.
In women's jail, that's right. But it's also the problem when we sort of glide over, in other words, these distinctions is that then you have an article that says this old woman committed her third murder. No, this old biological male who now identifies as a woman and have at it, committed this murder. And so that we were just talking about the lack of clarity in English or in language. It doesn't have to be English, of course, right? In fact, English has a lot more precision than many other languages. But that lack of clarity is obviously enhanced when you're now taking words that we have a common understanding of and you're abusing those words.
And you change them.
You change it. Just by fiat, by just declaring, hey, by the way, the word woman no longer means biological woman. It means merely how a person presents.
Feels.
Yeah, right, whichever, presents himself, whatever. Okay, I get it. I told the story on your show many times, by the way, Dave, how when I was a young kid, this is before all of this was sort of a big deal, and I was in a what do you call it, like a Dillard's, that type of a store.
Kind of an upper end shop.
Yeah, but one of these big ones, and I think it was Abraham and Strauss up in New York. That was
or Macy's or any of the others.
Right.
Okay.
And there was a biological male wearing a dress. And I'm a kid, I don't know, 5, 7, 9, right?
Yeah.
And I started pointing it out to my mother. My mother says, yeah, okay, like, I get it. And just, let that person be. So I say this to you to say, even in today's day, we need to let people be. That's fine. The person views him or herself in a particular way, wants to wear a dress versus pants, whatever. That's that person's right. Where conservatives have an issue is when they try to impose that view on us in a way that interferes with core functions like bathing, prison, sports. Sorry, there's only so far we will engage in that activity.
Or if you won't use their, quote, pronoun, they want to take you to court about it.
Yeah, now I think that's over, but I will tell you, as I mentioned a moment ago, if someone says to me, can you call me she or Sally? I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care. Why? I'm not invested in it. Sorry. Now, I'm not here to tell people how to think on this or act on this. I'm just telling you, if, for example, I've had students in class, and whatever they say, they're prone. Now, forgive me if I make a mistake. By the way, I've made mistakes on people who are not transgender because you see these Coke bottle glasses I'm wearing, and I have big classes. People sit in the back, and someone you remember that time I was on your show? I used to have long hair at one point. I tried to do it just to do it. I once went into a chiropractor's office. It was dimly lit. I carry, you can't see it on air, but I carry a Coach purse. A man purse, they call it. Well, you got to call it a man purse because usually it's not a man that carries a purse. And so I walk in this chiropractor's office, and the guy says to me, ma'am, come to the back. Well, okay. Well, I got long hair, a purse, and he's old, and it's dark, and he can't see so well. So, people need to have a little grace when it comes to these things,
It's like an overweight woman, and you say, well, how many months pregnant are you?
Oh, yeah. Let me tell you. Never ask a woman how many months pregnant she is. I don't care if
you're usually going to be wrong.
Oh, yeah. I don't care if you're 90% right. That 10% is not somewhere you want to go.
My ex-husband, one time, we saw one of our friends out, and he goes, "Oh, I didn't know you were expecting." And her husband was like,
"We're not.
She's not. She just eats a lot."
Oh.
I was like, "Dang."
I would say something like she has, hand-to-mouth disease.
We're happy.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes I ask Dave if he's pregnant. No, I'm just kidding.
You say something about that, but
you can't say that because I'm a lot lighter now than I was.
No, you look great. That's why.
Back to what he was saying about seeing them in the store. So, I guess back in the summer, I was in a store, and there were kids in the store, right? A family store. This man was cross-dressing like a woman, fishnets on, skirt up to his beep.
Yeah.
And come on, if he bent over,
you're gonna have to fill in.
See that?
You're gonna have to fill in this case, what the beep is.
The beep. His beep.
His beep.
His beep.
His beep, not her beep.
And his beep beeps.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
We got you.
Right.
But I'm like, and I'm just going, okay. If my kid is, my grandson's this short, right? If he were to bend over, he'd see his beep beeps.
But the truth of that is that
That's for to me. That's people wanting attention.
Right, and it's inappropriate irrespective of the sex. A woman shouldn't be dressing with the skirt, 2 inches below.
No, but her beep beep don't hang a little.
Right. Well, there's a distance issue, is all there is. Right.
Right.
This is just math we're talking about now. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I
who dresses
understand.
like that to go to the store? I was just like,
Was it in
fishnets?
Walmart?
No, it was a thrift store.
I'm
It was
just
a thrift
saying.
store because I love thrifting.
Because in
Thrifting is
Walmart,
great.
people dress in
Hey,
some
Walmart.
strange ways.
Walmart is a slice of America. It really is.
Walmart. I'm going to get shot at Walmart.
Don't do that.
Well, the lady the other day, she was in the parking lot. And here's another thing. You'll love this, Rob. So I was getting all my stuff Tuesday for, the big snowpocalypse.
Snowmageddon.
Yeah.
And this woman was screaming at this man to get out of the parking spot. Screaming out her window. Get out of the parking spot.
Right.
Why is he just sitting in the parking spot? Well, I'm like, maybe he's texting or something. It's
Right.
his parking spot.
Or maybe he's
She told me I
waiting
was
for
ugly and I
somebody.
needed to go eat my dog food. She was screaming in my ear. I was like, lady, I'm about to leave.
So
You can have my spot. And then she parks half on the white line, half off. I'm like, these people are crazy.
Yeah.
I'm just staying away from Walmart.
I love Walmart. I could live at Walmart.
It's like a television show, a live.
I mean, Walmart really, in all seriousness, has done something for Americans that is dramatic. It has changed the dynamic of people who don't have a ton of money to live a decent life.
Sam Walton was a genius of what he built.
That's right.
Of course, now, if he could come back from the dead, he might have some interesting conversations with his grandchildren.
Right.
His daughter.
Apparently, some of them have become very liberal.
Yes.
Right. But what he did, and to be clear, what Walmart does is offer products at a price that allows people to buy things that when I was a kid, our family couldn't afford.
Right.
Yeah, and if they can't do it, then go to dollar store. I'm just saying.
They ain't the only one, to be clear. But it's a model of providing access to individuals. And this is the beauty of capitalism, by the way. What are you doing? Walmart does it because they make money doing it.
A lot of money.
And by the way, I always say this in my class when I teach about business law. I say, the purpose of business is to make money. There's nothing wrong with making money. They do it to make money, and it has a reciprocal benefit of allowing people to buy things they couldn't otherwise afford if there wasn't a model like the Walmart. It's not only Walmart anymore. Costco is hitting Walmart pretty hard, by the way, now that we have a Costco. But by the way,
They're
Costco,
really hitting Sam's Club.
right, exactly. But I just want to point out, and I wrote a column on this once, Costco's got some national policy you can't carry a gun in there or something like that. Now, I don't think they have a sign up, which is required. But Sam's policy is whatever the state allows, we ain't interfering. God bless them. Because Sam's...
It's a deterrent.
And Sam's is from Arkansas. Walmart is from Arkansas.
Right.
So they still have some significant Arkansas values. Costco, I forget where they're from. I want to say Portland. I don't think that's right, but don't they feel like they're from Portland?
They're either from the left coast or the right coast.
Yeah, they're from some left something, right?
Yeah, as far as that's concerned. Here's the whole thing about concealed carry. If I'm out concealed carrying, I don't say anything about it.
Well, of course
Nobody
not.
knows that I'm concealed carrying.
Of course.
If I don't say anything, they're not.
Yeah, that's like,
they're not gonna see.
when we come back, like, have you seen the new autistic Barbie?
I heard about it.
It really is offensive.
How do you have
to
an
me.
autistic doll?
You can't. That's
Right.
like, and like I said, it's like having a concealed
You
carry
can make
Barbie.
a doll anything.
You
Right.
can't have a concealed carry Barbie because you'll never see her gun.
But
Like,
that's
how are
it.
you going to have an autistic Barbie? It's your brain.
Right, it's like Barbie with a liver cancer.
Yeah.
What do you do? Cut open the plastic
Right.
to check?
No, she has earmuffs, a fidget spinner, and I'm just
Oh,
like,
is that right?
I am high functioning, and I don't have earmuffs. Like, my son doesn't have earmuffs. Like, come on now. Like, you wouldn't even know it if you look. Some of these people, you don't even know it. We don't want attention.
There's a reason it's called Spectrum.
Yeah,
Yes.
Right?
exactly. Yeah, no, I get that.
No, I know you do, but that's my point. That's
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
that's odd.
Autism
That's another
Barbie.
one of those that goes along when I tell you when you're talking to somebody from the left, you got to have a different lexicon.
It's the left English dictionary.
Yeah.
Is what you need.
Right.
They come up with something different all the time. All right, and they're known for doing that. They do it because it throws you off balance. 9:20, a break, and then we'll be back with more. It's the Dave Elswick Show here on 101.1 The Answer.
Dave, can I say it's been well over a month, right, or about a month since I can't believe I've been gone so long, and it feels so good to be back on your show. It's really fun. I love being on your show.
All right, 9:23 on a Friday. The snow apocalypse approaches. Just so you know, my wife and I went to Walmart yesterday. I had to pick up some needle pins as that go on my syringe thing that they give me with my insulin so I could take them, and I went over to buy some more. While I was there, and Linda rode with me, she decided, well, I could use a couple more loaves of bread, and I said, don't expect to find any. And she went anyway, and she bought this bread that has, pieces of seeds in it and stuff. Now that is not my wife. My wife loves white bread.
That's all that was left, huh?
And no, all the white bread was gone. It's just
that's what she said.
Yeah, the multi-grain bread, and that's what I eat.
It's healthier than multi-grain,
Yeah.
Everyone's posting on Facebook all the empty freezer shell, and all the shelves are empty everywhere. It's like COVID all over again.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, I went to Edwards intentionally. I like Edwards. They got a great meat counter.
like Edwards.
But I went there yesterday, and they had milk, they had eggs, because people are like, oh, I'm going to go to the big one. Go over to Edwards.
Yeah, I always go to the one I think least
That's right.
people are going to go to, or that'll have,
Yeah, how's Aldi doing? Are they?
Oh, I went. That's where I went. It wasn't as bad. I went to Walmart, and I just needed one thing at Walmart, and that's why I went there. I was gonna and then I was like, yeah, I'm not doing the rest of my shopping here.
Yeah,
I got my dog food, and that's it. I got out of there.
The dog food that the woman told you should be eating.
That I'm ugly. I need to eat it. Yes.
Yeah, my
tooth, right?
My wife, she. I'm gonna make a generalized statement here. She goes out shopping like a woman. All right.
What does that mean, Dave?
We're going to find out. Let's see. Dave's going to be in the air for another 7 minutes.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Go. Yeah. The key is that
I'm sleeping out with the dogs tonight.
Most women they don't go with a list.
I don't.
And if they
I don't.
and if they do go with the list, they get into the area of where the items are on their list, and they've got to look at every item to see what they're going to buy. I power shop.
That's how my son is.
I'm just.
Drives me
I'm
crazy.
like most men. I walk in. I know what I'm coming from. I go where it's at. I pull it off the shelf, and then I get the heck out
My
of
oldest
Dodge.
son is like that, and it drives me mad. He'll be done with everything he needs to get by the time, because we don't go to the store together anymore. Because I'm like, he takes like 10 minutes, and he's like, all right, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. And
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, I haven't even got like I haven't even been half the store yet.
That's what I'm talking about.
But I'm
all right?
ADHD though, because so I get like squirreled real easy in the store. I'll be like, oh, look at that. And my son will be like, oh, look at the pretty colors, Mom.
Most women are like that. I mean, it's not a bad thing.
I mean, I go with the list, but
Yeah.
I go in with the list with the intentions of looking at it, but I never look at it until after I'm done, and I'm like, oh, crap, I forgot that.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm going to go buy Walmart and Kroger, and if I have to go to Kroger, it's because they don't have it at Walmart. But this is the way Linda thinks. Well, no, they didn't have any white milk left. They had chocolate milk, and so I got a gallon of chocolate
and
milk.
some Hershey syrup.
And I'm saying,
Well, you can put that in your coffee and make a mocha. I'm serious,
Yeah.
by the way. That's not a bad.
No.
I'm just saying
Mm-hmm.
that I looked at her and I go, I'm not going to eat Apple Jacks with chocolate milk.
No, that you're not going to do. But you can put it in the coffee.
And I don't like that kind of stuff in my
I
coffee.
like milk
You don't?
too.
I like chocolate. I like straight coffee with one or two artificial sweeteners in it. That's it.
I like my coffee natural. Two artificial sweeteners and milk.
Yeah.
That's how I like it.
Yeah. I don't put milk in mine.
Oh, you don't use
No,
milk.
no. I
Gotcha.
just
well,
put
then that's
the
good.
artificial sweeteners
Yeah.
in it.
I just like if I'm at home, I'll use the sugar-free creamer, and that's kind of got the sweetener in it, so I don't have to use that. But if I'm somewhere else, they don't have that; it's just regular creamer. Then I'll use this sweetener.
Okay, so I got 2 minutes left before we go to news. So let me ask you, altruistic Barbie?
Autistic.
No, autistic.
Autistic
okay.
Barbie. Yes.
All right.
Yes. It's insanity, Dave.
Do they look different than the other Barbies?
No. It's exactly like a regular Barbie, except for it has earmuffs and a fidget spinner, and there was something else that came along with it. And I'm just like,
And how
Okay.
much more were they than a regular Barbie?
oh, I don't know. I haven't seen one on the shelf yet. It was just a press release news
A
article.
story, okay.
Yeah, and it was just like, I'm like, that's just crazy because you can't tell.
No.
Do I look autistic? I'm high functioning. Do I look it? No.
Yeah.
But you couldn't tell if I had a gun on me too, and most of the time I do.
But by the way, I am not autistic, but I would not call myself high functioning. It's a totally different issue. Totally different
well,
issue.
that's to be, so I'm a squirrely one
Yeah.
too. So
I mean, it's like people ask me, what's wrong with Elon Musk? And I go, what do you mean? He says, have you ever listened to him talk? I said, he's on the scale.
yeah, he's on the spectrum. On the scale.
Yeah,
he's
I mean,
on the
That too.
scale.
That
scale,
too.
spectrum, whatever.
Yeah.
And anyway, but he is brilliant.
Oh yeah, him and
He's
Keanu Reeves also is
Oh, is he? I didn't
in our
know that.
camp. Mm-hmm.
I
That's
didn't know that.
interesting.
Yep.
Yeah.
But people, I don't know.
To me, it's going to give people the idea that every person that has autism is, oh, you don't have your head muffs today? Do you need to fidget?
Yeah.
Come on, like, just
It's
stop
also,
it already.
it's sort of an odd
I
thing
think
to
It
be.
is.
I think they should have the Karen Barbie.
Yes, I agree.
Who's just
With their
complaining about
protest
everything?
sign that
It's
says
just a woman.
Yeah.
stop hating
Oh,
on him. Yes.
send your letters directly. Attention, Dave Elswick. There's a new location.
All right, news is next. We'll be back.
That was a good sign off.
Okay, we're back here on the Dave Elswick Show. Thanks, Val. Appreciate it because, that break is supposed to be 5 minutes, and that one was 2 minutes and 27 seconds. But that's not your fault. That's the computer's fault. Keep that in mind. Robert Steinbach is here in the studio with me, and we've had a little bit of fun talking about just life and things that you run into in general. And if it's a Karen, and a Karen, by the way, by my definition, is someone that gets bent out of shape over nothing. Just get bent out of shape over nothing, and they don't know when to shut their mouth. That's the bottom line. They just don't know when enough is enough. Leave it go. Be gone with it. But there's a lot of people that are like that now. They want to tell me what their view of the American dream is, and typically it's wrong. And okay, so let me. I'll ask you, Robert.
Yes, sir.
What is the American dream in your estimation?
And I know you always do this. I haven't been on the show in a while, so just to sort of catch back up, my views are my views alone. They don't necessarily represent.
Oh yeah, I forgot to say.
No, it's okay. That's either why I pointed out. You always say it. They don't necessarily represent the views of my employer or employers, in fact, right? Because I work for the university and I work for the Democrat Gazette.
Right.
But my appearances on your show and in any media
are yours and yours alone.
Mine and mine alone, exactly. And that's by the way, it's fair all around, right? Meaning they have their views, I have my views, and vice versa.
See, I always have fun with that because I always say when it comes to UALR or the law school, they may not be their views, but they should be.
They should be. But that's great, right? I mean, because that's another view. That's the point. We're allowed to have our own views. And whenever we have views, we think other people should share them. So the American dream, it's not a unique story, but it's a classic story. My parents passed, but they came to America. They're immigrants. They came because of the American dream. My father was born in Poland, lived there when both the Nazis and the Soviets invaded. He lived under Nazi occupation and Soviet occupation.
Which is not a big difference.
Oh, that's exactly right. And then they fled to Ukraine, and from Ukraine, the Soviets moved them out because, oddly enough, this is how perverse the world was, and to some extent, with those types of folks still is. They moved his whole community out because there's a bunch of Jews, and they were worried that the Jews would ally with the Nazis over the Soviets. Really? Brilliant. So they moved him to Siberia, and then from Siberia, after a year, they moved my father's family. His mother at that point had already died. You
lived in Siberia
for a year,
and you could still move. You weren't frozen solid?
Right. Well, there was a girl. They used to go to school every day, and they used to walk on a tow rope. Not a tow rope because it didn't move, but like the tow. I call it a tow rope. To school, the girl let go. They found the body in the spring.
Oh my God!
Literally, and then went to Kazakhstan after the war. Briefly returned to Poland, and then his family, which was only his father and siblings, went to Germany. Germany, you say? Yeah, because the Americans were in Germany, and he went to what was known at the time as displaced person camp, where
because the Soviets were worse than the Nazis.
In some respects, I mean, it's kind of hard to say. What's that?
That had come in behind the Nazis and liberated, but not so much for the Jewish people.
Well, they came in behind and sort of liberated Poland and then kept Poland under their thumb amongst the other Eastern Bloc countries for half a century. So they weren't liberated at all. In any event, so I asked my father, why did you all go from Poland to Germany? And he goes, because that's where the Americans were. And if you wanted to stay alive after the war, not during the war, after the war, you went to where the Americans were. So, I mean, that's sort of a nutshell of the American dream, right? And then eventually they came to the States. I mean, there's more intervening events which I've told on your show before. I just won't go into it at the moment. But yeah, because that's the American dream.
The American dream to me is you can try to reach the goal that you want in your life. That's what I think is an American dream. I wanted to own a home. I wanted to own a car. I wanted to have my family, and I wanted the people to leave me alone to raise my family as we wanted to. And for me, that's the American dream. The American dream is not being told you got to be anything, any way, anyhow.
Or what kind you have to have.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I mean, people say, Dave, do you have problems with gay people? I go, no.
Right.
The only time I might have problems is if they want to tell me how gay they really are. I don't want to hear that from my
straight
buddies
people,
that are straight people. I don't, or cis people as they call them now.
I'm not using those. I don't even know what those. I know what those words. I don't even use them.
Well, that's used in the other lexicon. I got that book in my living room.
I'm what do they call? I'm uneducated.
I got
on that LGBT slang.
Yeah, but anyway, I mean, I find myself now using the slang dictionary a lot more because I don't know what a lot of the slang words mean anymore. They'll say they're this or they're that, and I say, well, what is that? Yeah. And I look it up and I go, okay, kind of thing, as far as
like doesn't even make any sense. Goes.
I mean, we live in a strange country right now.
No, a strange time.
Okay. It's a strange time because
Indeed.
we've moved so far away from what our ancestors were doing, or even what I was doing when I was a teenager.
Right.
The way I thought when I was a teenager was, I got to get my license at 16 immediately.
I got to go cruise the strip,
and I got to get in the car and be able to drive the car and things of that nature. And now that's not the way a teenager looks at things. They may be they're looking forward to living with their mom and dad for another 5-10 years. I wanted to be gone.
That was my kid. Yeah.
As soon as I reached age, 18 at
my
that
son
time.
was still in high school whenever he turned 18, and he went out and got his own place. I was like, you don't have to do that, but I want to be independent.
Yeah, well, that's
okay.
And that's why I know that the collective, that view of society has gained a really strong foothold in our country now, because we were independent. My parents were ready for me to move out of the house.
But the problem is, Dave, is that I was out when I was 15. I was on my own when I was 15 years old. And the problem with that is I couldn't imagine my kids being out at 15 years old. And a lot of parents, they don't want their kids to go through what they went through, so they spoil them. I made it a point I was not going to spoil my kids. Like, I had a rough childhood. They did not have a rough childhood like I did. But at the same time, I wasn't going to give them everything. Even if I had it, I wasn't going to make them like that. They had a job the day after their 16th birthday. They had a bank account at 16. And I told them, all right, I pay for your house and all your necessities, and you pay for all the junk stuff that you want with your money.
I might buy you a pair of jeans, but they're not going to be
$200.
Yeah, they're not going to be that cost like that. You may not have you'll have shoes, but they may not be Adidas or Nikes or whatever. But you'll have a pair of shoes. But Dad, they're not cool. I said I'll buy you a pair of shoes. I didn't say I was going to make sure you were walking around as a fashion
like
statement.
Everybody else, keeping up with the Joneses.
Yeah.
My kids always wanted. That's the thing with my kids. They never wanted to go shopping. I knew what to get them: black pants and Vans. Both of them. That's what they wanted, and they had all the concert T-shirts they needed. So they still have like closets full of concert shirts.
Of course. And now the ones that they have when they were younger are even cooler because they're like collectors,
right?
Kind of. I've got a sonic distortion.
Social distortion?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I love social
kind
distortion.
Of T-shirt, and I wear it every so often, and people say, "Wow, that's cool. where do I get one of those?
Right.
And I
You
go,
can't find them anymore.
good luck.
eBay, maybe.
You might,
if you're
not
lucky.
find them.
Vintage store.
You might find it on the Professor of Rock's website or something, like that kind of stuff. This is when Robert gets,
quiet.
He gets quiet on my show because we're talking about stuff that he doesn't. He don't care.
Because you talk about shopping. Interesting topics like shopping.
I'm talking about buying
punk rock.
Punk rock shirts and things of that nature. But that's what makes this show different than every other talk show that you listen to on the radio. I'm not a guy that I'm going to always talk about politics. I talk about politics a lot, but that's not the only thing that I'm interested in.
Right.
If I think it's something you would be interested in, my audience talking about, I'll bring it up and we'll talk about it. I talked a lot about Davos this week because that was where it was happening.
Right.
It was important stuff. But we also talked about a lot of other things, and we were having a good time talking about some of those other things.
It's been a great week, Dave, and I just want to thank everybody for being so welcoming when I'm coming back. Like, it's like last night when I was at the Right to Life, I was like, I just like hopped back on again, like riding a bike, like just jump
You're
back in.
hanging out with all the
off.
conservatives.
Yeah.
And checking out. People probably saw you and said, where you been?
Yeah. I saw Tim Griffin. Brian King was there, I believe. My favorite, Jason Rapert.
Yeah.
Not my favorite, but just because he's just, instead of bringing people in, he pushes them off. You know what I mean? Like, that's, anyway. But then Ken Yang.
I haven't seen.
Jonelle. I saw Jonelle.
Yeah, Jonelle. I haven't seen Ken in a long time.
He looks different.
He's
well, when we first started having him on and stuff, he was in his 20s.
No, he was in his late teens.
Was it late teens?
Yeah. I mean, this show has had more people travel through it who have done more things for the conservative cause than any kind of other radio show here in Arkansas. I mean, I don't think people, Christian Olson, and you look at, all the different people that hang around, Nicholas Horton.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I remember getting Nicholas Horton started writing when he was fighting against the swimming pool over in Searcy. That's what he was writing about because they wanted to spend a bunch of tax money, and guess what? He stopped it.
Well, that's like whenever you asked me. It was 2009, and I had lost my job in the mortgage company because I went to college to be in broadcasting and reporter, but they didn't want to pay me.
Yeah, well.
So
that's broadcast.
I had a friend that offered me a job in the mortgage business at Southern Mortgage, and then the meltdown happened, and I was just furious because for so long I was a Democrat, and then I realized it's Clinton's fault with Acorn. So I was ranting online, and you were like, I like what you got to say, girl. Do you want to come on my show? I didn't even know who you were. Like, I didn't even know who Dave. I had just moved here from Jonesboro.
Yep.
Like a couple of years, and I'd only been here a couple of years, and then here we are today.
Yeah, and you have moved further and further to the right.
Oh yeah, I went to Right to Life last night.
Yeah, as I explain on the air, I always quote Churchill at this time.
Right.
If you're under 30 and you're not a liberal, you don't have a heart. But if you're over 30 and you're not conservative, you don't have a brain.
Right. It's the old joke that what's a conservative? A liberal that got mugged. Right? Meaning a liberal that has been exposed to the world. The world is not all patty cake and nursery rhymes.
No.
And so conservatives have a more realistic view.
Might be, for some people, it would freak them out to know that I was the first part of my generation that could vote at 18.
Oh, isn't that interesting?
When they passed,
when it switched because of Vietnam.
That's correct.
Right.
If you could die for your country, you should be able to vote.
When you served, Dave, was it during the Vietnam period?
Right after.
Right after. Gotcha.
Yeah, right after is when I did it. And so anyway, this might surprise people. You got to know a little history, so if you're really young, you probably don't even know what I'm talking about. I voted for McGovern because I couldn't bring myself to talk about to vote for Nixon. I knew that Nixon was a crook
from the day you
when
saw
I
him.
was 18 years old.
Yeah.
Anyway, I voted for McGovern. All right, we got to take a break. Let's do that. Take a break, and then we'll wrap it up with Robert Steinbach. We're going to talk sports in the final hour here on the Dave Elswick Show.
Is Zach coming in?
Yeah, he's here.
Oh, he's here. Nice.
I saw him.
Nice.
I don't like these chairs. I want a different chair. No, it's got the way that it is.
Well, you should have
It puts my butt to sleep.
Yeah, because of the pressure points.
Yeah.
The host should have.
All right, we got 10 minutes left to go here. What are...
Oh, you know what we were going to talk about, Dave? My next week's column, as usual. Yeah, I'm going to give you, and more importantly, your audience, the scoop, which I try to do. Even though I write for the Dem Gaz, I'm going to give you the scoop. So, in March, we have an election coming up. And
it's a primary election.
Right, but let's be careful with that language because of the ambiguity here. And early voting starts...
You're going to elect judges.
Right. And the early voting starts in mid-February. Two things happen in that March election. One, as you aptly point out, well, both of them you point out, but the first one that you aptly point out is primary. So remember, if in a general election, which is in November... you have a Democrat running against a Republican. Not always. Sometimes there's no Democrat running. In Arkansas, there's almost always a Republican. Actually, in a few spots, there's no Republican. But
and they could vote Democrat.
Right.
So you got to know what they stand for.
Right. You mean like the Ward laws? Within a party, there can be more than one person running for a position. So if we have a House seat open, there may be 3 people that want to be the Republican nominee for that House position, and theoretically, although not realistically, 3 people who want to be the Democratic nominee for that position. So in each primary, we have to pick a winner. And in Arkansas, you don't have to be a member of that party to vote in that primary.
And I want that changed. But
yeah, you do
we do. Although we've made a nice incremental step. I'll give credit where credit is due. If you are registered in the Democratic Party, you can't vote in the Republican Party, and vice versa. Right. That's a new thing.
Right.
So independents can vote in either primary, and of course, people registered in their own party can and vote in their own party, but not the other party.
Isn't it optional?
So we're moving towards that.
I'm going to say optional too.
And then, so that's one thing that happens in those primary elections. The other thing is, for some reason, and I don't know why we do it this way, instead of holding the elections for judges in November, when we hold the elections for everybody else, we hold them during the primary election. So even fewer people show up to vote because primary elections don't get the same turnout as the November election because everybody knows there's an election in November, and not everybody knows, unless you listen to Dave Elswick show, that there's an election in March.
And on those elections, there's off year and on year. Off year is when you're not electing the president. On year is when you elect the president.
Now we switch. So, that primary election is in March this year, and I think in May next year.
Nope, it's always in March.
Oh, is that the switch?
Yes.
See, I got confused. Because this is the problem, is these dates are not constant, or at least have not been constant. So it's a good thing if we're making it constant.
Yes,
good.
I agree.
In any event, so people often don't know about judges. You can't list your political affiliation for judges. So it's, John Smith versus Jane Jones. And people don't know a lot about it. So that's a problem. So I have a list of some elections in Arkansas that are disputed primaries and some that are judicial races in March. These aren't all of them. And I know I'm going to get a call, oh, you forgot to mention so-and-so. And if that's the case, when I get that call, my response will be, I'm sure I did. Meaning it's not a perfect list, but here's what I got, and I'm going to share that.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Cole Jester is my choice for land commissioner. Wayne Long, and that's a disputed election. That's why I mention it, meaning the primary, Republican primary, there's someone else running in it. Republican primary for House seat that Wayne Long currently holds is disputed. I support Wayne Long, very strong conservative, not, as are most of these others, if not all of them. Richard Friend, a friend of the show, no pun intended, is running for sheriff, and that's a disputed election. I support him. John Kyle Day is running against our friend Wardlaw. I just use the collective Wardlaw at this point. And I support John Kyle Day. Gunnar DeLay is running for judge over in, Fort Smith. Good conservative, and I support him. He has an opponent. Robert Tellez here in the Pulaski County area is running for judge. He ran previously and didn't quite make it. He is a former student of mine, great candidate. That's a judge position, so that is not a primary. That's the judge elections are during the primary period. It's weird. Nick Bronny is running for Supreme Court. He has an opponent. Nick is a conservative, and his opponent is liberal. And I support Nick for that reason and other reasons. I think he's a capable individual. Incidentally, we have 2 spots open on the Supreme Court. The other spot that's open is uncontested, but I'll mention his name just so you don't think I'm avoiding that one after we're talking specifically about that court, and that's Cody Highland, and I support Cody as well. But he's going to get at least 1 vote, and that's all you need in an uncontested election. So he's going to win that one, but I'm a good supporter of Cody as well. Ron Caldwell is a state senator, yes. And he has a primary opponent, and I support Ron, good conservative. Now, the article will probably stop there because, at least in my mind, I'm not going to talk about the federal races in Arkansas. I think. We'll see. But I do also support French Hill. I wrote a whole column supporting French Hill when he was somewhat verbally attacked by a colleague of mine in the paper. Like, well, his granddaddy said, well, his granddaddy. Like, I don't need the end of that sentence or whatever. I don't care what, I don't care how you end that sentence. His grandpappy? Okay, we ain't talking about that. So I'm a strong supporter of French Hill. That may or may not be in the column only because how I'm conceptualizing the column. But so that's why it's important for me to say today on the Dave Elswick Show that I'm a supporter of his. He's a good guy. I like him a lot.
By the way, he was supposed to be on today.
Oh.
And he didn't make it.
Because I came on. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
He didn't make it because as he was coming to where he sits down to do the show, he was pulled to the side for a meeting.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
and
it happens.
So he could,
right. Yeah.
I want him to do his job.
Right.
All right?
Right.
I can put up with him not making it on the air for a week, but he'll be on this next Wednesday.
Gotcha. Good.
Is that all on your list?
So that will be next week's column.
What about the Senate?
And I'm sorry.
What about the Senate?
What was that?
The Senate. What about the Senate?
I mentioned you talking about state Senate.
No.
Oh,
U.S.
Yeah. So, like I said, I'm not focusing on the federal elections. So I haven't even. I don't even know who's up for Senate.
Cotton is up
Gotcha.
for Senate.
Gotcha.
Then you got all of the congressional.
Right, that's what I say. I'm not.
All up because
yeah,
they're
always
elected every 2 years.
Right. Now, I don't know if the congressional, the House folks have primary opponents. I don't even know. I have not been paying enough attention. I think French has a primary opponent.
Yes,
but
he does.
He does. Okay.
And so doesn't Cotton.
And so does Cotton. Gotcha. And what about the other House folks?
I don't think.
Westerman does. Well, no, he doesn't have primary, does he?
I don't know.
Or is there a
think
Democratic
so.
opponent?
I don't think. If a Democrat runs against Westerman, you're going to lose.
Right. He might have a primary. I don't know for sure if he does or not.
There might be a libertarian that's running or something. I don't know. I'm not
do,
sure.
Do you have all 4 of the congressional representatives on your show typically?
No.
Which is the one that
Womack?
Womack, you don't typically have.
Yeah, because we don't reach that area.
Oh, I see.
At all.
Yeah. Got it.
All right.
It. Yep.
Thanks for coming on.
Of
today,
course.
brother.
Great to be
appreciate
back.
you.
It's been a while.
We'll see you again next week. Let's
God
take
bless.
a break, and then we got news coming up, and then we're going to talk sports.
Yeah, that's
There's another kid that's going back.
going to be interesting.
Yeah. All right. Let's get back to the Dave Elswick show. All right. I'm back here on the radio. We've got Razorback Zach here today. I want to talk a little bit about sports with him, and there's a lot of things to talk about sports. First of all, let's talk about how good of a holiday it was for me.
Yeah.
Okay, because the Indiana Hoosiers became national champions.
No, you're kind of riding high right now, ain't you?
Yeah, and they were undefeated. Now, when you talk about Indiana, the other undefeated team that we should mention to you is the 73 Hoosier basketball team that went undefeated, and no other college basketball team has ever done that since. It was 50 years last Saturday, that they won the national championship.
That makes sense why MC was putting up Indiana Hoosier basketball, the movie stuff, on his face. I got you.
That's
Okay.
the reason. Okay, so Indiana now has, in basketball, an undefeated team that won the national championship. And as God is my witness, I don't think I thought I would ever say this, Indiana has the only undefeated football team that won the national championship.
And they did it in dominating fashion.
Oh, my God.
That's the fun part about talking
In the
about Indiana
playoffs.
football.
Now, they had some problems during regular season. I mean, against Michigan, against Iowa, it was tough, and a little bit against Michigan State and Penn State. But Indiana has always played like dog meat at Penn State. And I'll tell you right now, that pass that Mendoza threw for the touchdown was an outstanding pass. That guy deserved the Heisman, and in the championship game, he made a Heisman play when he scored that touchdown.
Yes. When see, here's the thing, and I knew when they wiped the floor with Alabama, I knew then that this was just go ahead and cancel the playoff, give them the championship, because Bama's not a bad team. They're not as dominant as they used to be under Saban, but they're not a bad team.
And they didn't know what to do.
They couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, they didn't know what to do, and neither did, to be honest, Miami.
Miami started to figure it out, but by that time,
It was too late.
Indiana was able. Okay, they're figuring it out. Let's do it this way.
Yeah,
But I'm telling you now, Signetti's facial expressions, I want to put pictures of those up around my house. just of his facial expressions.
Yeah.
And when he's looking down the first down marker and he's like, and I can't even mimic it.
well, he was really upset with the officials.
Well, I would be too.
I want to tell you, I was watching that game, and there was a hit on Mendoza in the first half.
Yes.
Where a guy hit him with the crown of the helmet right under the chin strap.
How do you not call that?
Well, not only how do you not call it, but he just bounced right up.
Yeah, act like it didn't even phase it.
He ran off the field and stuffed cotton in his mouth to soak up the blood where he was bleeding inside his mouth. I mean, it was unbelievable.
When he walked to the sideline, when he jogged to the sideline and he sat down, I thought,
he ain't
all right.
coming back.
I said, all right, little brother, you're up.
Yeah.
You know, you better start warming up. And they show him putting cotton swabs in his mouth during the defensive series, and then he pulls them out, goes right back out there. And I'm just like, and that's why he won the Heisman.
That's exactly
That is
right.
why he is the Heisman winner.
He was tough. He's the tough. I don't think the Raiders understand how lucky they are that they're going to get him.
I hope they don't do what they've done in the past and ruin these good players.
Well, you got to have some protection.
The Raiders don't.
The first 2 years, Mendoza is going to be just like Peyton was when he first went to the Colts, and he's going to be looking up at the ceiling a lot. He really is going to be looking up a lot from a prone position. But because he can take some hits, he'll do all right. He'll be back. He's not going to lose his abilities because he's been beat up. I mean, he was beat up at the end of that championship
Yeah, he
game.
was. But again, when you've got a kid like Mendoza, that is. Keep in mind, Dave, these guys were not highly recruited players. They're all JMU players.
He was a 2-star.
He was a 2-star. Now he's a freaking Indiana legend.
Yeah, and he's a Heisman Trophy winner. And he showed what Signetti knew about all those cats that went with him to Indiana. They could play the game.
But if Indiana can do it, that just shows anybody can do it.
It means Arkansas can do it. You got to know how to use the portal, though.
Yeah.
You got to know, and Signetti knows how to use the portal,
and he does. So does Silverfield, though. We've got the number 9 ranked team, or number 8 team, recruiting class right now.
Good.
But my fear is look at A&M. A&M had the number 1 recruiting class a couple years ago. Spent $30 million, went 7-5. Can Arkansas pull that off and do something similar? Because here's the thing. If Silverfield can go in next year and get 6 games, build him the freaking statue already.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Build him the freaking statue. It's the year after is the one I'm looking at. That's the one where, okay, he's had a year to get his guys in place. Now, the good thing about when he was hired, he's got a full off season.
Right.
Like a complete off season. He doesn't, it's not one of those where he was hired in January and he's not, he's missed the recruiting portal. It's not like he was hired, in February and he's only got partial, like Calipari was.
Right.
Where he went from no team to the Sweet 16. Silverfield has the capability of doing a complete 180 on this program. Since 2021, when we won that 9-3 season, we've just steadily declined again.
For every coach that's coming in, and it's going to be the new coach for a team, you don't have excuses anymore.
Not in this age of college football.
Yeah,
no.
you don't have. If you got any money at all from the alumni, that's something that people got to understand about IU. IU has the largest alumni class in the United States.
See, I didn't even know that.
They got more alumni than anybody, and and then they got some really, very wealthy alumni. I learned and didn't realize it that Buck, the announcer,
Joe
Buck's Indiana alumni.
Really?
Yeah.
How did I not know that?
Yeah. I don't know. Now you do. You don't have.
I come in every
excuse
Friday.
Now.
I come in every Friday and learn something new.
As far as that goes, and some things happened over the last few weeks because the portal's closed right now. You had, you got the young Mendoza because of this kid from TCU that's coming to Indiana has left Indiana. He's going to play where he figures he'll start. And I don't blame him. He should start somewhere because he's a good quarterback. When he filled in for his brother, he tossed 5 touchdown passes and 1 interception.
Yeah,
I mean he did well. He did good, and he thought, I'm sure, was thinking all the way through this season that he was the heir apparent coming in because he's a talented quarterback, but Signetti is doing what he has done already, showing I go to the portal and get what I need.
But okay, so that just that kind of bugs me just a little bit because what did he not see in Little Mendoza that made him want to go get a quarterback?
He's not going to talk about that. He's not going to talk about that. He's taught this kid that is coming. It's his last year, and he's thrown for over 9,000 yards in college football already.
Where's he coming from? I forget.
TCU.
That's right.
He's a horned frog. He's coming here, and we're coming to Indiana, and I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to what Signetti. Now I look at him, and I got high expectations, so that he's.
This is only his second season as head coach.
That he's going to keep Indiana competitive.
But all the time.
But
I got to ask, just like we do down here in Arkansas, what's going to happen if he goes 8-4 next year?
Yeah, well, who knows?
There's
a pro team that would like to have him, I'm sure.
Oh, we'll take him down in Dallas.
Yeah. Well, the word was that the Raiders wanted him.
No,
And
no,
he said no.
no. He's a smart man. Smart man.
He didn't want to go. But I did think it was interesting that Fernando had dinner that night after the game with Tom Brady. Tom Brady is very well, he owns part of the Raiders ownership, and he wanted to talk to him, and talk to. I know they're gonna draft him. He's gonna be the number one pick.
I don't know. That's got to be against some kind of NFL regulation.
It's not.
That's got to. I mean, it has to be.
But they're going to talk. They had
that's
conversation.
You can't tell me that's not part of against an NFL regulation. It can't be. It's got to be.
Well, he's not an active player now.
He's not. I mean, even if he was an active player, it wouldn't have been that big of a deal. But he's now a part owner. And
Brady. Okay.
Yeah, Brady.
Okay.
But that's got to be. That's got to be an issue. But him and Goodell are like this. I mean, look at how many times he got away with everything.
Yeah.
So him and Goodell are going to be good friends.
So I just thought that, I'm proud of IU. I've got my championship shirt ordered.
I figured you did. You ordered Monday night?
I'll be putting it on. It's supposed to get here in a couple of weeks. And it's a hoodie. That's what I
was going to say. It probably wasn't a T-shirt. It was a hoodie.
No, I wear hoodies. I don't like T-shirts. I like hoodies, and so I'll have that soon. It says 2026 champions, and then it's got the IU symbol.
Dave, I want to ask you a question because
Yeah.
this has bugged me, and I've talked to the guys about it. This transfer portal in college football, why not? Why is it closed right now? We're less than a week away out of the national championship. This thing needs to be open right now.
I don't disagree. I think they open it too soon.
They don't need to open at the end of the regular season. End it after all the bowls are done.
Absolutely.
Because and that's how, for me, that's how you fix college football. If you're going to do it right. Okay? Cap the NIL, because there is not a 18 to 22-year-old kid that needs $5.5 million. I'm looking at you, Arch Manning. The kid was mediocre last year.
He was a freshman.
But Dave, look at how far he fell. He went into the season with the number one team. Yeah. He went in as the Heisman favorite. He went in with all these preseason accolades for what? To become Cheez-It Bowl champion?
Yeah, but still that might have been true. But as I've always said about any kind of team sport, it takes more than just one person.
Yeah. And by the way, if anybody wants to pay me, sign me to an NIL deal for $5.5 million, I will put my email address out there.
I want to be hired on as a coach of a team, and I want about a $36 million buyout.
There you go. Best thing in the world.
That's exactly right.
Go 0-12 and have one of the best jobs in the world as a fired head football coach.
Absolutely. That's where the money's at.
It is, and these buyouts are stupid. These outrage, like Jimbo Fisher's.
Oh my God!
$75 million buyout?
Yep.
And he's getting like $38,000 a day.
It's crazy,
or something like that. They broke it down, and he ain't got to do anything for like the next 4 years.
I wouldn't do anything for the rest of my life.
Probably not.
I live on the beach somewhere.
That wouldn't be too bad.
I would have a Mai Tai, free Mai Tais for everybody for the rest of my life.
And the other thing, and I don't know if we're up against a break, Dave, but
we're getting close.
If you're going to do the season right and you want to expand the playoff, get rid of some of the bowls.
Get rid of what?
Get rid of some of the bowls, like the L.A. Stripe Bowl or the Jimmy Kimmel Bowl or the fried wonton bowl or whatever.
Go ahead and hold on to the bowls. Just make them part of the playoffs. It's like the Rose Bowl was the semifinal.
Yeah, but they're talking about trying to expand it to 16 to 24. Yeah. You're looking at, if you're going to do that and keep the way things are, you're looking at February before the season's even over, and then they get like a month and a half off, and then they're back for OTAs for spring ball.
Yeah. It's going to be a job. That's what they've been wanting. Now they've got it. All right, 10:21, a break. Razorback Zach's here. We're going to talk about the Hogs and about the basketball team. And I brought something up to Razorback just before we went on the air, and he said, exactly. He understood exactly what I was saying. We'll be back to talk about it here on the Dave Elswick Show. All right, 25 minutes after 10 on the Dave Elswick Show. And so let's get back and talk to Razorback Zach. I want to talk a little college basketball right now. I don't see any team in college basketball that is an unstoppable juggernaut.
No, there's really not one. Not like, throughout football season, we were like, look out for Indiana, You said, look out for Indiana. All right. But at the end of the day, when you're looking at college basketball, anybody could lose at any given time. What matters is who gets hot at what point. And you want to get hot.
Exactly right.
There's one point where you want to get hot, and that's right at the beginning of March. Right at the end of the season, right at tournament time. You want to be hot in the tournament.
Win your tournament and then be hot to go into the tournament.
Get you an automatic bid, get you a lock in the tournament, and that's where you take off. The problem is teams like Duke are getting away with so much crap. Like, it's unreal how much they're actually getting away with.
A couple of years ago, the officials would talk. They always talk before a season, and they typically say, we're going to make it a special, we're going to be watching for this or that. And 2 years ago, it was pushing off with your arm. If they called that as close as they did a couple of years ago, now Boozer would foul out every game.
He'd foul out before the first half was over.
Yeah. He is. I have no problem with playing physical basketball, but when you let somebody literally charge constantly
and elbow kids in the face,
and never call it, I have problems with that.
Yeah, that's my issue. But no, there's not a team, at least not from my perspective right now. I've kind of been out of the game the last couple of months. I took some time off. To me, there's not a team out there that I'm like, man, this team's looking dangerous. You know, this team looks scary. Arkansas is one of them. Arkansas is in that conversation. The problem is, they're like you had talked about. They're playing down to their competition.
They play up to their competition and down to their competition.
Keep your foot on the pedal, no matter who you're playing.
That's the only way you can explain to me the drubbing they took from Georgia
and Auburn.
Yeah. I mean, terrible.
They got shellacked. I can't say the word I want to say on air, but they took a beating against Georgia, and Georgia's just not that good.
No, they're not.
I do want to tell everybody, though, I make my first appearance back as Razorback Zach on ITHP this Saturday. We're doing a very special broadcast of the Arkansas LSU game. It's on our YouTube channel. We call it the Hogcast. If all of the guys have internet, me, Dylan, and MC, we'll be talking. We're not doing live play-by-play, but we're doing in-game commentary of what we see. MC is going to break down plays and what he sees and give you the perspective. And hopefully we're going to have a very special guest, a former Razorback basketball player, on as well. But that tips off at about 7 o'clock Saturday night if everybody has internet and power and the weather doesn't completely screw things up. But it's we're calling it my return to ITHP, and I'm looking forward to it.
That's good. I'm glad that you're coming back.
But I took some time off, and definitely going to come back. I'm looking forward to being back behind the mic and being back with the guys. But getting back to the college basketball, Darius Acuff, man,
he's the real deal.
MC said it best last night on the show. He said that Acuff could be and is potentially going to be the best forward we've had since Lee Mayberry, and he's only done it. He's a freshman, and he's only done it half a season.
All right, we're going to talk about him when we come back here on the Dave Elswick Show. We got a break for news, get you up to date on what's happening around the world and across the United States, and that's going to happen right now. All right, let's go back now. We brought forth a name just before the break, and that's Acuff. All right, and he is a good ball player. Understand though, he's probably one and done. So I'm sure that Calipari is already paying attention to who might be going to go into the portal.
Yeah, Calipari's. You're going to have a lot of guys leaving this year. I mean, that's the way the game of basketball is now.
Well, it's the way that
and that's
college
the way
sports now.
And you said it about a year ago. That's the way Calipari is.
Yeah.
Look at all the one and dones he's had at Kentucky.
He's the one who started that whole kind of
and
play.
And I'm okay with Acuff going especially if he's a lottery pick. Let him go.
Well, they're saying that he might be one of the top 5 drafted.
I can believe
the
that.
NBA.
I can believe that. I said it before the break, and I'm going to expand on it just a little bit. But if you didn't catch the show last night, go check it out. It's on our YouTube page, and the replay is up on our Facebook page. MC and Dylan break down Acuff very well. Even MC, and MC's our basketball guy. I will give credit where credit's due. I'm more football than I am basketball.
Right.
MC has followed Razorback basketball for years. We call him the old man that yells at the clouds. But he even made the comparison to Lee Mayberry. And what Mayberry did in 4 seasons, Acuff's done in half a season. So by the end of the year, he could be the best forward we've got in Razorback basketball history.
He's playing well. I mean, he really is.
And he's not doing it selfishly either. He's recognizing, and I've seen it multiple times, especially in late game situations. He's realizing, okay, none of the other guys have got it. I'm putting this game on my back, and I'm going to go try to win it. If the other guys want to step up, great. But I'm going to go take care of it because I want to be that leader. And he's only a freshman, Dave.
Yeah.
That's what blows my mind is he's playing like a fifth-year senior, but he's only a freshman.
So he's either 18 or 19 years old.
Yes. That's the other thing. My ADHD brain's running wild. What do you think about these cats coming back from the pros with all this eligibility going back to college?
Yeah. It shouldn't be allowed.
That's another story for another Friday. But no, there's the talent that's on this Razorback team right now. They have the capability, and they've shown they can stand toe-to-toe with anybody. The problem is, like we talked about before the break.
They play down so many times to teams that are not as talented as they are, which means they're not getting themselves mentally prepared for the game.
They are, but they're getting that. It's almost like they've got that mindset of, oh, this is a cakewalk. We beat so-and-so last week, and we weren't supposed to win that one, so it's a cakewalk for us this week. And they look past the Georgia. They look past the Auburn. Auburn and Georgia are not that good.
Yeah, I will point this out. This is where I start looking at coaching, is when teams aren't ready to play lesser teams and they don't play to their abilities. I think that's a coaching issue. It's not as much of a player issue.
Right. Well, but at the same time, the coach, Calipari's not on that court making those decisions.
Well,
there were several
I don't
times.
disagree.
To a point, to an extent. But at the end of the day, if you watch how Calipari is during that Auburn game, if you watch how he acted during that Georgia game, he was on the sideline going, this was not what we practiced. There were several times when the camera would catch him and he's going, what are y'all doing?
Yeah.
It was a little bit more nastier than that.
Yeah.
A couple more choice words added in.
He was talking to him in a manly style.
But again, I was screaming at TV going, what are we doing? Mm-hmm. Like the week before, we played lights out against Ole Miss. Then you play Vanderbilt, play lights out. And then you get to Georgia and Auburn, and you're like, let's just play recess ball. You can't do that. You've got to play with that same intensity because at the end of the day, when you get to the SEC tournament at the end of the year, when you get to the Selection Sunday at the end of March, early April, you've got to have the resume, and the committees look at that. The committee looks at that.
Yeah, you can't have 25-point losses to a Georgia.
No. Now, the losses to Michigan State, to Duke, to
those way better for you than you do better if you win, but if you only lose by 7 points, they look at that as you got some talent if you stayed with the team.
Right. If you stayed with it and it's, a single-digit loss, and sometimes even if it's a double-digit compared to what their resume is. So at the end of the year, if you for example, you take Arkansas's strength of schedule, their losses to quad 1, quad 2, quad 3 teams versus somebody like Duke or Michigan State, and who they played and how they played after that Arkansas game. Who do you think is going to get seated higher?
Here's my key. When they start saying who's going where in the big dance, I don't want to be an 8 or a 9 seed.
No, I tell you this too. You don't want to be a 5. You don't want to be in that 5-12 matchup either.
Yeah, I don't want to be there because there's very little difference between an 8 and a 9. The 5. You're supposed to be a lot better than a 9 or a 12, and in many cases that's not.
I was going to say, but how many times in the tournament, at least in the last decade, have we seen a 5-12 matchup go lopsided and by way of the 12 seed?
Can I say Richmond Spiders?
Yes, or who was it? Many years ago. Was it George Mason?
Yeah.
I mean, look at that was a Cinderella team.
St. Louis.
St. Louis. All these other teams that you're that's going to be a blowout. Creighton's one of them. You cannot look at the number beside the team. You can't, especially when it comes to that big dance.
Not basketball. 1 and you're done.
Yeah, because look at how many 1 seeds went down last year, early in the tournament. There's always going to be an upset because these teams are not going to get hot at the right time, and then you've got somebody like Arkansas. Okay,
or you have someone like Purdue.
When you've got somebody like Arkansas who goes from having a no team
to a team
the June before to being one of the last 16 teams standing, I sat on your show and said we're not making the tournament. We're not going to make a deep run, nothing. And we ended up in the Sweet 16. That right there tells you anytime, any moment can change the course of a basketball team's record right then and there.
Because of what I've seen from Arkansas in dropping games they should have easily won, I don't think they make a deep run in the dance right now.
They're going to make a run. But it's going to end up being like it was last year, and it's going to be nail-biters at the end of every game.
Like when they knocked off Kansas.
Mm-hmm. Or when they knocked off Auburn a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Or they're going to have those moments, okay, where you're on the edge of your seat the whole game going, okay, is this where they slip up? Or you're going to have the team that comes in against Vanderbilt and just blows them out of the water.
Yeah, well, you're watching the game, you go, I knew this was coming. I just knew.
So we have a sister podcast called Hog HQ. Real good friends of ours that we helped launch mold their podcast. I'm not going to take credit for it, but if you watch both of our shows, it's kind of modeled the same way almost. And I'm good friends with one of their main guys, Matt Hart. And we talk all the time. We mainly during football, but if you look at it, there's always a moment in every sport, and especially in the big three when you got basketball, football, baseball, where it's the moment. We call it the moment that everything just kind of flips on its head. That that's when the game was lost.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There are those times in a game. Yes, there are.
It could be a foul. It could be, God forbid, in baseball, it can be a missed home run. Caught catch, or something.
Can be a foul ball dropping in front of people.
Easy there, buddy. Hey, look, that was 7 years ago, but it still stings.
It's still there. I'm a Cub fan. I remember.
But I don't know what hurts worse now, that or what happened last year against LSU in Omaha. I don't. It's just kind of 1 and 1A at this point. But you always have those moments. But the thing is, it's not about that moment. It's about the moments that follow.
Yep.
And how you respond to that.
Yep.
Is what matters. Are you going to lay down? Muhammad Ali said it best, and this is one of my favorite quotes. I use it in everyday life, but I love it so much. And he said, you don't lose if you get knocked down. You lose if you don't get back up.
Yeah, it's the truth.
So you get punched in the mouth. Are you going to lay down on the mat, or are you going to get back up and you're going to go win the game?
There are so many times that I can look at and go back and remember high school and early college when I was playing college ball, that I could look at another player and could tell that they were already whipped.
Mm-hmm. You can sometimes in some sports you can tell
that in the mental, they were not prepared
100%
to face things that challenged them really mentally, and they were dead in the water.
Yep. You let them go out there to try to work it out and see if they can get through it.
Yeah.
But you don't leave them out there too long.
You can see that in the pitcher gives up a big home run or something, and his body language will tell you if he's still in the game or he's not.
Well, you give up a home run, you leave the guy in there for a couple of pitches. If he bounces back and has a good inning, leave him in a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But what happens, the pitch, and again, I'm not a baseball guy, but maybe you can kind of expand on it. It's always the pitch after the home run hit.
Of course it is, because it takes you out of your game.
That's where I look at it as,
especially if you threw a pitch and you put it exactly where you wanted it,
and he still hit a home run,
and they still, maybe it's just a base hit,
or like the something that I can kind of equate it to is how a quarterback goes out after throwing a pick six. Okay,
that's a good example.
That is a big mental kick to you, and if you can come out and have that mental fortitude of, well, I'm not just going to keep handing it off. I'm too scared to throw it now. Go out there and let it air.
Yeah.
Because if the defense can see that you're rattled, they're gonna come after you every play. They're gonna blitz you every play. Same thing in baseball. If you throw a pitch and they start picking up on it, and you don't change the way you throw it.
Pro game. Last weekend.
Yes.
Last weekend. They pulled a player out of Buffalo. He went out.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yep.
He got hurt.
Yep.
And he had to go out, and they put in his replacement. Bo Nix, the first person that he passed to, was the guy that the player that came
Receiver,
in,
yeah.
the guy was hurt. Is where he went, and he threw it right over his left shoulder for the touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
The other guy, that if the first stringer had been in there, that would not have happened. I do not believe.
It may have, but like I said, it's always a toss up. It all depends on where your head's at. If your head's there and you're focused, anybody can be unbeatable.
All right, let's take a break, and then we'll come back and wrap it up. We'll talk about some of the games that are coming up this weekend and who we think will win on the Dave Elswick Show.
That was a quick hour. No, it's always fun.
Okay, so as you look at the Razorback schedule, how long before we get into – it's going to be February, I guess, before we get into tournament play, correct?
No, tournament play will be end of March.
Okay.
End of March. No, February is going to be the meat of your SEC schedule. Like this Saturday, we're supposed to play LSU at home. I'm still waiting to hear if that game has been moved or if it's been postponed or something. But as far as we know right now, that game is still going to go on at 7:30 on Saturday night at Bud Walton Arena in Fayetteville. And that game also going to be broadcast on the SEC Network. But on top of that, if you don't want to listen to the voices of SEC Network, flip on over to ITHP's YouTube channel. We're going to be doing a Hogcast live if that game goes on. We'll have me, myself, and myself, MC, and Dylan if our internets hold because of the weather. But we'll also have a former Razorback with us that's been a part of our team during basketball season. Real cool dude. I'm not going to give the name out. I just want you guys need to check it out. That'll tip off about 7 o'clock if all goes well. Then you play Oklahoma on the 27th.
That'll be a challenge.
That'll be a challenge. And then the game I'm going to be at in person, my first official Bud Walton conference basketball game. I've been to Bud Walton before for Arkansas LSU and or for Arkansas UALR for the unveiling of Nolan Richardson Court a couple years ago. But this will be my first conference game in Bud Walton.
It's a great place to see a ball game at, by the way.
Kentucky's coming to town.
Ooh.
Next Saturday, January 31st.
So the question is, which Kentucky team you going to get?
I hope
it's a good team or the really crappy team?
You know what? I don't care because we're still going to beat the crap out of them. All right? I do not care because they are they're so tired of Mark Pope right now. It's unreal. So that atmosphere, again, if the weather holds, because we're supposed to have another round of winter weather next week, if the weather holds, that atmosphere is going to be electric.
Okay, so let me ask this question of you. What do you think about all of the coaches that have been fired in college and in pro? I mean, I look at Harbaugh getting fired for the Baltimore Ravens, and now he's going to the Giants. I'm going to tell you what, the Giants just made themselves a much better team because of who they brought in as their head coach.
If they let Harbaugh be Harbaugh.
Well, that's
again, why do you think Baltimore – I don't think he should have been fired from Baltimore. That made no sense to me.
No.
That made absolutely no sense to me.
It doesn't make any sense about Tomlin being canned. I don't
understand that one
either.
I can see. That one I can – that one's been coming for a while.
Yeah.
That one's been coming for a while. You can't win with Aaron Rodgers at the helm. And look at his postseason record the last 5, 6 years.
But the Aaron Rodgers he got is not the great Aaron Rodgers.
It's not the Green Bay Aaron Rodgers. No. And I blame the Jets for that.
Yeah.
I blame the Jets for that. But at the end of the day, it's a job. And if you don't meet the expectations of that job, they're going to find you another one.
I don't agree. But who are you going to get to take Tomlin's place?
I mean,
look, they're going to go get Ben Roethlisberger to come back and coach him.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't see anybody that's out there.
They're gonna get some up and coming offensive coordinator. I mean, look at the old Jets coach, Robert Saleh or whatever his name was. He's now down at Tennessee or Miami or something. You know. So I mean, at the end of the day, it's just like a carousel. It's okay if you're fired from here, you're going to get picked up somewhere else. The Giants need somebody like Harbaugh. Here's the thing: they're going to have to let Harbaugh be Harbaugh.
He has got to bring back tough players to the Giants team. Yeah, you need. It was Conklin, right? That used to be there. I liked him as a coach. The players hated him because he was so tough.
That's what being a coach. I mean, here's the thing: I don't want a coach that's going to be my best friend. I don't want to.
That's because we didn't play with little wussies.
If I'm not mentally there, Dave, I want that coach to grab me by the face mask. You can't do that now.
No, you get fired.
Oh my! They will fry you on SportsCenter if you do that.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
But I love that kind of coaching.
Yeah,
the Sabans, the Belichick's in his prime, not what he is now. You know, the who's the other one that's on NBC, or was it NBC or CBS? Used to coach the Steelers. Bill Cowher.
Oh, Cowher, yeah.
Yeah. You know, Tony Dungy. Those kind of coaches, man, that will get after you and stay on you because they see the best in you. That's what the sport of football needs to get back to.
Well, I sure hope that the guy who's taken over here at Arkansas is ready to bring some discipline and some real tenacity to the team.
You can definitely tell the ones that have not seen Remember the Titans. We need more Coach Boone in the sport.
All right, let's take a break. I hope to see you on the radio on Monday. I kind of doubt it. Probably won't be able to get back to the station until Tuesday. Could be Wednesday, but we'll have all the information you need right here at 101. Razorback Zach, glad to see you.
It's always fun, my friend.
2026 is right all laid out and before us, and we'll get back together again
yes, sir.
next Friday here on the Dave Elswick Show.
Woo pig.